Hello, we are back. Let's do it. This time, we are dealing with Mr. Long, going to figure out what exactly he thinks about what's going on. All right. So, here we go. Why Larry? I was the one who found the body of the victim, Damask II. Beside him was the samurai sword, glittering red and offering up the scent of blood. It was supposed to be in the Steel Samurai's dressing room, but I found it here instead. Plus, I found the murder weapon's owner, the suspect, Larry Butts, in here too. Isn't it a bit far-fetched to accuse someone simply on the basis of ownership? But this owner wanted to sneak into the crime scene. I think that's plenty to go on, don't you? If you're alluding to his reason for being by the chimney, we've already established that. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. You two are longtime friends, right? Who's to say you didn't fabricate the evidence to give him an alibi? You're accusing me of fabricating evidence? You think I can believe anything you produce? Forging evidence is all you prosecutors do! This man has some serious issues with prosecutors. But come on, I can't think up something as complicated as that, right, Edgy? Larry, I can agree because I know you and your personality well. However, Agent Long knows nothing about you. Or me, for that matter. I sense his hatred for my entire profession emanating from his entire being. Meaning that the only way I can prove Larry's innocence is to present irrefutable evidence. Everyone is always asking, why is Larry, but never how is Larry. Feels bad, man. I know. See, I was the one who found the body of the victim, Damask II. Here we go. So you were the first to discover the body this time. This time? What's that supposed to mean? You'd better watch what you say. I only said this time because earlier Kay was the first to discover the body in Babal. And your secretary, Agent Shina, was ready to accuse her of murder for that. Ha! So are you going to use that excuse to call me suspicious now? Of course not. I was simply pointing out the usual pattern with discoverers of bodies. But in the Ablaze case, there was proof that she was holding the weapon, right? Well, in this one, it's a bit different, since we know exactly where the weapon is. See, beside him was the samurai sword. Alright. Excuse me, but glittering red and offering up the scent of blood. Do I have to spell it out for you? I mean, the sight and smell of blood, of course. And according to the tests, the blood on the sword belongs to the victim. The sword was made to only be used on stage, so it's not sharp. But it is pretty weighty. It's certainly heavy enough to beat someone to death with. Which leads me to suspect that the victim was beaten to death with the sword. Beaten to death, huh? This last statement is too important to just let it slip by. So what do you say? Beside him was the samurai sword covered in the victim's blood. Okay. Beaten to death, he just said. Did I get that as a thing to discuss? Let's see. I suspect he beat the victim to death with that thing. Hang on a second. Do we have... Wait. No. This is the samurai spear. He couldn't have beat him to death because the spear bent the minute he hit it against anything solid. I think this is it. Let's see. Yeah, I think we got it. Do you know what this is, Agent Lang? It's a long spear, right? We used to use those a lot in my country a long time ago. Piercing, mowing people down, spears are the weapon of heroes throughout history. Is the next most effective weapon after the whip? I think the whip is in a slightly different category. Spears are actually very good weapons. Whips, not so much. So what's your point? Are you going to tell me that this spear is the real weapon? No, I simply want you to take a look at this section here. The way it's bent? Precisely. Apparently, a certain troublemaker hit it against a wall in this embassy earlier. And as you can clearly see, the insides of the Steel Samurai's weapons are hollow. In other words, they're replicas that aren't strong enough to deliver a damaging blow, let alone the multiple strikes necessary to bludgeon someone to death. And yet there is not even a dent in the samurai sword. How do you explain that? Oh yeah, the sword and the spear are made of the same stuff, so they bend easily. But I wish they'd make them out of a better stuff, because the spear got bent. I wasn't able to do my special early summer rain jab move. Man, I got such an earful from the director of the play for not doing it in the show. The Steel Samurai's special move was changed tonight because of him? Oh no, that's the worst thing. That is the actual worst thing. Ouch! That's more than enough of your whiny whimpering. Now, back on the topic of the spear. Yes, let's return to the topic of the discussion. This is where the real gamble begins. I don't have a real strategy per se, so all I can do for now is let the chips fall where they may. Edgeworth is now ready to find him guilty. He is. He's guilty of ruining his Steel Samurai show. Actually worse than the death penalty, I think. Using guesswork and taking risks in place of real logic is hardly the Von Karma way. It's neither smart nor very clever. Miss Von Karma, as you know, unlike your father, I am not a genius prosecutor. Plus, I doubt his record of a 40-year win streak will ever be broken. But perhaps it is time for the best. It is for the best if it remains unbroken. For no one should have conceived of the notion to convict all defendants in the first place. What a foolishly foolish statement from a foolishly fool who hates to lose. It's the job of a prosecutor to make sure that all defendants are found guilty in court. There is nothing more important in this world than a perfect victory. That may be your opinion. However, I don't believe that's all we are. As a prosecutor, what I pursue is not the perfect victory, but the perfect truth. And if that means that the bridge I must cross will crumble beneath my feet, then let it crumble as I walk on towards the truth. You're good at keeping me entertained, Mr. Prosecutor. But you know, humans are delicate creatures. The slightest bump and we expire. I'd like you to consider, if you will, the possibility that the sword was used in such a way that the attack killed Damask II without bending it. So what do you think of my hypothetical scenario? I think you know what to do here, right? And what you need? Of course. What I need is evidence even he can't refute. This is it. It's time to bring this to a close. Why Larry Part 2. It's possible to use the samurai sword to kill someone, and under these circumstances, it's the only logical conclusion. We search the embassy top to bottom, but the victim's blood is only on that weapon. So isn't it only natural that suspicion would fall under the owner of said weapon? How long do you intend to cling onto that preposterous theory? As long as I want, because we examined every corner within the walls of this embassy. There's no stone we've left unturned. And we have managed to come up with only one logical conclusion. That the only place inside this embassy with the victim's blood on it is this sword. You left no stone unturned? Is that a fact? If you've got something to say, then say it in the only way I respect, Mr. Prosecutor. Yes, of course. In that case, allow me to make it all crystal clear for you. Okay, what are we getting at here? I'm curious. Why Larry Part 2? Okay. It's possible to use the samurai sword to kill someone. Well, hang on just a second. What evidence do we have? Oh, the knives, right? Because all three knives are on the shelf, right? And we have the Ablaze knife that is missing. And we have the Alabastian knife. Is it possible that the Alabastian knife was used to kill both people? That would be wild. I gotta wonder about that. But we'll see. We'll see. Alright, so we got... Let's see, possible to use the samurai sword to kill someone. Let's see. May I inquire as to how you're able to make such a claim, Agent Long? Leng Ji says, capable of miracles beyond comprehension, a mysterious creature is man. Rather than man, it's Agent Long's quotes that are getting increasingly incomprehensible. The human body is a mysterious thing. Even with a toy-like sword, it's easy to kill a man if you hit just the right spot. Which is why I think it's possible to kill with this thing without leaving a dent. But we can only be sure one way or the other by seeing if the wound matches the sword. I know that. But as long as it's a possibility, I can proclaim it as much as I'd like. You sure can. Under these circumstances, it's the only logical conclusion. But you must know that your conclusion is wrong. Given the circumstances I'm in, the only people I can trust are my subordinates. Because they're a much more trustworthy bunch than you prosecutors will ever be. And you call yourself a professional? You still don't see, do you, Mr. Prosecutor? You have to earn my trust. And the only way to do that is to show me proof of another possible murder weapon. Another possible weapon? In this room, there's only one other thing left. This is going to be a gamble, but I can't withdraw from the game now. You're not going to get me to trust you by the power of your glare alone, you know. Plus, I have other reasons as to why I think the samurai sword is the murder weapon. Oh, you do? Like what? Oh, is it this that we searched and we couldn't find it? Yeah. The only place where you could find blood was on the samurai sword. That's right, even with luminol. Which means that there are no other possibilities outside of what I've already outlined. Do I have a problem with Agent Long's assertion that the samurai sword is the weapon? Raise an objection. Yeah. If you believe that there is no other door of possibility left open, then allow me to force one open for you. And how do you plan to do that? By showing you what may possibly be the real murder weapon. The real murder weapon? I hate to repeat myself, but my men have already searched every last inch of this embassy, and they've concluded that nothing else could have been used as the weapon. Knowing these facts, do you still want to press forward with your little hypothesis? Of course, because it's not possible that your men inspected everything in their investigation. What are you talking about? I don't appreciate mind games, and I don't appreciate it when people like you slander my men. I'm not slandering them, I assure you. I'm merely pointing out that their investigative dragnet has a few holes in it. Namely, that there is something your men couldn't even lay a finger on. And that item is the real murder... Oh! It's the statue. And that item is the real murder weapon. All right then, I'll play along for now. This real weapon that killed Damastu, what exactly is it? The real murder weapon, which not a single person has yet to touch, is this. It's the Alabast. Because they even had signs that it was moved, right? Because it was originally pointed toward the knives. Yeah. The national treasure of Alabast. You mean the Primadou statue? Yes, and as you know, only the ambassador and his secretariat may touch it. Which I believe means that neither you nor your men were able to examine it, correct? You know very well that if we did that, there'd be an international incident between the Kingdom of Alabast and the Republic of Babal. These two countries' precarious relationship teeters in the balance over a stupid fight related to a sovereignty statue. But I'll be damned if I let something go unexamined. Agent Long, if you could take a look at this. The direction the statue is facing just before and after the crime are different. And there is only one conclusion I can draw from that. Go look for Ambassador Alba and get him to give us the okay to examine the statue. Shifu, you can't listen to this infidel's words. He is most definitely trying to trick you. Shifu, please, let's be rational about this. Gah! Long as he says. Just go already. Yes, sir. Just making it up now. Shifu. Yeah? I'm really sorry, sir, but I was unable to convince the ambassador. I was unable to obtain permission for us to examine the Primidu statue. Huh, I see. Wait, but then the investigation is at a standstill. Agent Long, I will go and speak with the ambassador personally. Save your breath. He may act all weak and frail, but that old man's one tough cookie. But I guess you've got to be tough when you're representing a whole country, you know? Agent Long, what do you want? Let's just hurry up and examine the statue already. But Shifu, what about causing an international incident? Quiet! I'll take the fall if I have to later. Agent Long, the hypothesis is mine, so if someone is to take the responsibility, let it be me. Responsibility? If we're going to talk in such heavy terms, maybe I should let you. It'd be a real problem for my men if something were to happen to me. All right, then. Less talk and more investigating. If we want to know the truth, we can't stop here. Action must be taken. Agent Long, I'd like to run a luminol chemiluminescence test on the statue. A luminol test? Oh, good thinking. If the statue is the murder weapon, then some of the victim's blood should be on it. Okay! Let's get the forensics team in here! Looks like you hit the jackpot, Mr. Prosecutor. I guess this means that this is the real weapon that killed Damas too. Indeed. But I wouldn't celebrate yet if I were you. This doesn't let your friend off the hook. It doesn't prove that he didn't kill Damas too, so the charge remains. Send Wendy to seduce him. Yeah. We are hardly done examining this statue, Agent Long. Knowing that it is the real weapon, I believe further examination is required. You think so? Okay then, knock yourself out. Oh boy. We're holding an international incident in our hands right now. Hey, look at that. It's a fingerprint. But, what's this? Upon closer inspection, he really does look a lot like the Steel Samurai. Hey, maybe that's why they chose him to be the Goodwill Ambassador. I actually can't discredit that hypothesis. That might actually be real. I love it. Or maybe the people of this embassy just really, really like the Steel Samurai. That's absolutely preposterous. I don't think it's that unlikely. We mustn't go around denouncing people's opinions. Master Mass 2 International Statue Incident Boogaloo. Yes. He's doing it again. And yet, look at how easily you discredited mine. Not that I care why they chose him. Yeah. Alright, so let's look at that fingerprint. Or handprint. Yeah. And what do we have here? This dirty smudge looks like a handprint? What's a definitive bit of evidence like you doing under here? Looks like we got some fingerprints to analyze. Gah. Worst case scenario, these prints belong to Larry. But it looks like it's too late for me to do anything about that now. Hey, forensics guy! I want results on these fingerprints ASAP, you hear me? Agent Long, I have the analysis results, sir. Good. And? Sir, how about the prints we lifted from the bottom of the statue? Well, you know the victim of the murder in the Ablaze embassy? The prints belong to him, to Mr. Manny Cochin, sir. But that's... What's going on around here? No, that's impossible. Each Primidu statue can only be handled by someone of that country. But by the very fact that Mr. Cochin's fingerprints are on this one, leads me to only one conclusion. This statue is actually Babal's Primidu statue. Impossible! It can't be! Larry never once set foot on Babali's soil, so he was free to go. However, this new piece of information only served to confuse us even further. The ringleader of a smuggling operation was killed with an Alabastian knife in Babal. And Damask, too, was killed on Alabastian soil with Babal's national treasure. And the mystery of the great thief Yadagarasu, who visited both countries. The pieces were there, but I had yet to see the big picture they were to form. To be continued. All right. Well, we blazed our way through that. Turnabout ablazed, even, you might say. March 14th, 9:21 p.m., open air stage. Oh yeah, we came out here earlier in a cutscene. I've left the Damask 2 investigation to Francisca and returned to Babal. I suppose my first order of business should be to look into Babal's statue. Mr. Edgeworth! It's okay, what's the situation? Oh, it's great. Investigating is so much fun. In other words, they've made absolutely no progress. We weren't goofing off, honest, sir. We've been investigating our hearts out. Very well then. Would you care to give me an update on your investigation? We've had a really fun time, sir. I knew it. Zero progress. In any case, Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir? You have permission to enter the Alabastian embassy, is that correct? Yup. As a local detective, I'm helping out in investigations on both sides, sir. Good. In that case, I can leave these pieces of evidence with you. They belong to the lady under the Pink Princess's mask. The Pink Princess? What kind of lady was playing her, sir? The kind that was also playing the role of the Pink Badger yesterday. Oh, understood, sir. If I happen to run into her, I'll give them back to her. And if I don't, then I guess I'll unload them somewhere. He doesn't seem all that enthused to go find her, but I can't blame him. Evidence has lost their value given to Detective Gumshoe. Now then, I don't believe I'll be needing this anymore either. What? Are you really going to throw that autograph away? Yes, because that Steel Samurai was a fake. Steel Samurai's autograph scrunched up into a ball and disposed of. Edgeworth's just littered. I love it. He's just going to throw it on the lawn there. What do you mean by fake? Now then, I believe it's time for a little housekeeping. Unnecessary evidence has been removed. Remaining evidence has been rearranged. What do we have left? So we have the badge, guide, Cochin's body, the Yadagarasu key, Alabastian knife, Babal's statue, Cadopian paper, the Bubbly's knife, ink, counterfeit bells, passion flowers, the samurai spear, Alabast statue, Damask's note, and samurai dogs. Okay. Well, we can, hey, what's up with you? Oh, so you're back now, are you, Mr. Edgeworth? You must be tired. Here, with these, you can eat whatever you'd like. And these are discount tickets for our cafeteria. They open tomorrow at 10 in the morning. I appreciate the concern. However, these coupons do nothing for me right now. He's still trying to get him to come back. Open air stage. This open air stage, what function does it serve exactly? Well, normally we use it for a variety of events. It's all to attract that extra bit of attention to Babal. I heard that tonight, over in the Alabastian Rose Garden, Ambassador Alba was to give a speech. And you know what? Manny told me that I really should give a speech, too. Mr. Cochin told you that? Yes, he did. Which is why I thought I should give a speech of my own. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to. Because of the fire the Yadagarasu started? Exactly. Alright, Primidu statue. Ambassador Polino, I'd like to ask you a little more about the Primidu statues. Oh, I see. Well, let me ask you this. Did you know that Alabast and Babal used to be one country called Catopia? Yes? Yes, I know that much about your history. Did you know that Super Mario Bros. 2 is actually called Doki Doki Panic? Well, the Primidu statue belonged to the founders of Cadopia. At least that's how the story goes. It was bequeathed under the king of Cadopia as a symbol of the country's wealth. So it was meant as a symbol of sovereignty and the right to rule, I take it. Yes, that's right, which is why both countries are so adamant about their claim. We hold the real statue, therefore we hold the right to rule, is the reasoning. It's pretty petty when you think about it, though, I suppose. But if Alabast and Babal were to re-establish relations, shouldn't that put an end to the squabbling over the statue? I have no reason to believe so. The primitive statue is even more important now as a key to diplomacy. I wonder if Ambassador Poleno knows about what has happened to the very important key to diplomacy. Perhaps I should try showing him this key and see what he has to say about it. Did you do it? Did you kill Rita? Manny Kocha. Ambassador Poleno, there's just one thing I'd like to ask you about. Yes? Oh, and don't worry, you can ask me more than just one thing. How about 2 or 3? In exchange, I expect you'll be coming to Babal, yes? Well, thank you, but just the one thing is all I require. Manny Kochin, I'd like to ask you about this man who was your secretary. Sure, I'll tell you what I know. Thank you for your cooperation, Ambassador. Hello, Ratmat. Nice to see you. He was, well, if I had to put it in one word, he was an able man. If there was ever anything I needed as an ambassador, he was able to get it for me. To think that a man like that had a hand in a smuggling ring right under my nose, going completely unnoticed. Actually, I suppose because he was an able man, I was unable to detect his dirty dealings. It sounds like Mr. Kochin had a very sharp mind. Recently, Manny had been really busy. Since I became the Ablaze representative at the Country Unification Council, he's been working tirelessly to cover my work for me. I'm sorry, but what is this Country Unification Council? Oh, well, you see, had tonight's events proceeded without a hitch, our 2 countries were to reunify and become one again. Oh, really? For real? Huh. But I guess with how things turned out, that dream won't be realized anytime soon. I suppose not. That changes some things. Anyway, let's show him the primitive statue. Ambassador Poleno, if you could please take a look at this for me. The primitive statue sitting in Alabast right now actually belongs to Babal. So it would appear. I received a call from Miss Von Karma about this earlier. Then you will understand why I wish to inspect Babal's primitive statue immediately. Because the statue currently in your country's possession... yes, well, I've already inspected it myself. And it is definitely Alabast's statue. I know because it's the real statue. Then you're saying that Babal's was a replica? I'm embarrassed to say it's true. Even though I knew that someday it would be exposed. That's a big... Man, there's like all these bombshells in this conversation. I received my orders from the leaders of Babal, and I was to negotiate with Ambassador Alba at this event. I was to negotiate with him and fix the results of the evaluation tonight. To say that we could not determine which statue was the real one. Why are you telling me this? Is there something wrong with your microphone, or is it my computer? I don't know. I cannot tell. According to me, I'm coming through just fine. My audio levels are okay. Should be. Okay. There we go. I dialed it down a little bit. I think that might have been the problem. Why are you telling me this? Well, because you already figured it out. Our statue is just a hollow gold shell. Even if Babal were to lose face, the reunification of the country is what's important. I'm right in thinking that, aren't I? I'm not making a mistake, right? If you don't know yourself, then I won't pretend to know either. I never thought that by being betrayed by my own secretary, the real symbol of wealth would be given to me. Isn't it simply ironic? Yeah, that's weird. Huh. That's big, knowing that about him now. Okay. They're having a real time of it cleaning up after the fire. I suppose we should stay out here and investigate at the stage some more then. Let's see. Just looking at these scaffolds makes me want to climb them. I recommend that you do not try. There was a fire burning here until not too long ago. Yeah, but I think enough time has passed, so it should be alright. Thief Child says, if there is a height to be scaled, then scale it you must. Starting from Thief Child, would you care to explain what you just said? Are you trying to do a long honest there. Bags full of cement powder are stacked up here. I suppose they're for the renovation. Yeah, because I don't smell a drop of gold here, or any other treasure for that matter. Okay, the only scent you should detect in a place like this is the smell of sweat. Hey, Mr. Gumshoe, that was a pretty good play on words there. Gummy, don't randomly jump into one of our dialogues like that. Oh wait, that was Gumshoe. Were you eavesdropping on us, Detective Gumshoe? No, it's not like that, sir. Wait a minute. Is this a stepladder? A ladder. Actually, that's a stepladder. They're the exact same thing. No way! From their structure up, they're totally different. But of course, from a thief's perspective, the best kind of ladder is the rope ladder. A stepladder is much too heavy to carry around after all. And from a prosecutor's perspective, any type of ladder is guilty of being dangerous during an earthquake. That's right, Edgeworth and earthquakes. What do we got here? Hey, do you detect the scent of treasure coming from this bush? The scent of treasure? Not at all. Ah, Mr. Edgeworth, you're totally not with it. I'm not with it. No, and it's important for both thieves and prosecutors to be energetic. Perhaps for a thief like you, but that level of energy is unbecoming of a prosecutor. You really think so? That prosecutor we met at Gatewaterland seemed to be pretty active. Well, he's not a prosecutor anymore. See how everything just naturally balances out? That's right. Jack Portsman, bad guy. Hey, you're not going back to Alabaster already, are you? No, not yet. I still need to gather a bit more information first. What about this over here? It would appear that the stage is also scheduled to be renovated. You know, I would love to perform on a stage like this. Something like the Greatest Great Thief Show. I should think it would be a bad idea for a thief to show their face to the world. What do we got here? So how come so many traffic cones are red and white? That's because they're highly visible from a great distance. Oh, is that why? So then the reason you wear that wine red suit is for visibility's sake? Please don't compare me to a ragged plastic traffic cone. I don't know, he's pretty visible. This bush looks like the perfect place to hide some sort of treasure, you know? Ah, but there is no treasure inside those things. Oh, too bad. But we do have a lot of treasures back in Babo. Sounds great. I'll be sure to pay you guys a visit sometime for a 5-finger discount. Sure. We welcome you anytime. Are you sure you really want to invite a thief into your country with open arms? I don't know. That would be kind of weird. Let's see. There is a sign here warning passers-by to take precautions around this renovation site. Oh no, the traffic cone looks suspiciously large. Be careful, Edgeworth-chan. Oh no, Edgeworth-chan! We're gonna have to fight Goro there and level up some more. They're really going all out, huh? There's construction going on everywhere. I believe Ambassador Paleno said it was to attract more tourists and visitors. But what can they do with the new stuff they're building? Hey, what do you think they should do, Mr. Edgeworth? How about transforming it into a courthouse? Hey, be serious! But I was being serious. No, we're not going back to Alabast. Jeez. Relax, Kay. We've got to talk to Gumshoe, and I think that's it. Mr. Edgeworth! You look like you're enjoying yourself, Detective. Well, I don't have much else that I enjoy as much as a good investigation, sir. So, what did you find out? Ah, well... I take it he's found nothing of any particular use, as usual. Hey, you want to see my... Primitive statue? What do you notice about this piece of evidence, Detective? I don't really sense anything special about it. But the embassy is a different story. I see. I'm not really sensing anything special from you either, sir. Well, I'm sensing a special look at your monthly salary, Detective. Uh-oh. Samurai dogs, you know what those are. Wow, those look really good, sir. Can I have one? Don't you dare line your stomach with the evidence. Come to think of it, the dog Detective Gumshoe takes care of just up and ate a samurai dog earlier as well. Poor little dog. Slowly coming to resemble his handler. Oh, terrible. Ed, the Damask 2 note. Have we showed you that? No, you have nothing to say about that, even though you were on the case for the first Damask? Oh, that's too bad. Samurai Spear? No? I want to hear more from you, Detective. We spent, like, what? 3 games without you? We missed you. Ablaze. No? No, nothing. Because we already showed him the badge. So we got that. We got that going for us. Alright, let's just talk about the investigation. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth! I got something really interesting from Ambassador Poleno. Oh, and what is this something interesting? This, sir! What the heck is that? Wait, is that the lantern from, it looks like the lantern from, Spirit of Justice. Wow, that's so pretty. I'm so jealous. That's a real treasure there. What is the flame? Why does the flame burn green, Detective? So, apparently, if you burn these special crystal oil that they make in Babal, it burns this green color, sir. Interesting. So it's a special property of the oil. I suppose this is a ploy to force people to visit Babal should the oil run out. Hey, Gummy, what about these silhouettes? They stuck some cutouts on the outside of the lantern so it'd predict the images. Oh? Silhouettes, huh? They are rather pretty, aren't they? Wait, what am I doing? I was supposed to be asking for an update on the investigation. Hey, what's wrong, sir? He got lost in looking at the butterflies. I love it. There's something I want you to investigate for me. Do you think you can do that much? Uh-huh. You got it, sir. Hey, that's not fair. Why is Gummy getting to do all the fun stuff? Well, that's because I'm Mr. Edgeworth's partner. I can't believe you took advantage of the confusion and stole my role as assistant. I expect the two of you to get along and work together like professionals on this. Alright, so we got a silhouette lantern. Cool. Hey, where are you going? Are you heading back to Alabast? Yes, but before I do, I suppose I should give you a summary of what's happening. Oh, I see. So there's been a murder in both countries using an object from the other country? That's the gist of it. Babal is just as strict as Alabast in their inspection of the people and things that enter their country. Meaning that somehow both murder weapons were smuggled into the two countries. That's the only logical conclusion that can be drawn. Perhaps the key to the weapon smuggling is the person who traversed both countries. You mean the fake Yatagarasu? In one way or another, the Yatagarasu is connected. Of this, I am sure. Now then, where was the Yatagarasu first spotted? I believe it was the Rose Garden on the Alabastian side of the embassy. The garden is just on the other side of this boundary. It's where Ambassador Alba was to give a speech tonight. At least that's where I heard the Yatagarasu had appeared. In that case, I believe it's vital that I investigate the Rose Garden post-haste. Wait, before you go, take a look at this, Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? My guess is that it's a guitar pick. I picked it up just now over there. Do you think it'll be of any use? There is a little water on it, but how did the water get on it? It doesn't look like there's anything it could get wet from around here. I was thinking they have concerts here at this open-air stage from time to time, right? Alright, I'll find its owner later. Found it it looks like a guitar pick. It's also wet for some reason. Is that the Jammin' Ninjas guitar pick? Oh yeah, there's one more thing. Mr. Edgeworth, would you be willing to hold on to this? What is this? It's misused perfume. It's the bottle that woman left behind and that I found 7 years ago. I thought that one day it'd be of some use in tracking her down. So I kept it safe all this time. Thank you. I'd be honored to hold on to it for you. Misused perfume. Nice. Alright, so are we officially done here then? Yeah. We could talk to Kay though, yes? About the investigation. How is the investigation going in the Ablaze Secretariat's office, Kay? Well, even though we found a few treasures, they've all been pretty much burnt to a crisp. A treasure is a terrible thing to waste. Anyway, is there anything else I should know about? Oh, that's right. You know what I found in that office? A wooden bear carving. It's so cute. Can I have it? Huh? Can I? No, of course you can't. By the sound of things, it appears that there has been no progress in the investigation. Alright, well, let's get out of here then. There's the Steel Samurai show. And that's the auditorium we haven't been to yet. And then we gotta go to the Rose Garden. Can we go this way? May I enter the Alabastian Embassy? If it's only you, then yes. Why won't you guys let me in? I'm just following the rules, madam, so I'd appreciate it if you would cooperate. Well, I guess I have no choice but to climb over the wall from the Ablaze side. Hey, please don't run off and do any more dangerous things tonight. It was just a joke, Mr. Edgeworth, a joke. Don't tell me that after my heart skipped a beat. I think I'll be returning to the investigation in Alabast now, but I know. I'll go back to the ball and do some more investigating there. All right. March 14th, 9:58 p.m., Rose Garden. I see you're back, Miles Edgeworth. How are things in Babal? Although I can't really say I expect much from Scruffy and that girl. The investigation into Manny Koshin's death hasn't really progressed any. However, the investigation into the Yatagarasu has. Ah, yes, the Yatagarasu. Even now, I find it hard to believe. A person who can freely traverse between the two countries at will? Preposterous. Well, that's what I came here to investigate. I heard that this is where witnesses claim to have seen the Yatagarasu. That's correct. Ambassador Alba was to give a speech tonight here in Alabast. And that's when the Yatagarasu appeared. The shadow of the mysterious thief appeared, and just as suddenly, it vanished. After that, there was the fire at the Ablaze embassy, and that the Yatagarasu started. I vow that not a single feather from the Yatagarasu shall escape my diligence. Alright, investigation for reals. Here we go. Hey, there's a floodlight there. Let's start over here by looking. Can we look at the roses? We cannot. We can look at these, though. Is it possible that the Yatagarasu hid in these bushes? Of course not, they're rose bushes! You've been spending so much time with Scruffy and that girl, they're rubbing off on you. But it's alright. I'll wake you out of your stupor. Now, the next time you feel like sleep-talking, remember that I'll whip you for real. All I tried to do was offer up a possibility, and this is what I get? There is an overturned spotlight here. When the Yatagarasu appeared, the audience that was waiting for the speech to start panicked. I suppose that's when someone must have knocked it over. I'm having a tough time visualizing the mass confusion that took place here. I thought to use my whip to capture the Yatagarasu. However, there were people in my way, and I was unable to land even a single lash. I suppose this means that some other poor saps were hit instead. Probably. A statue of a woman. I wonder if the lady is pouring water. It says that it's a statue of the queen who spoke of love to King Primadou. Well, Miles Edgeworth, it seems that you are lousy at reading a woman's heart. I opened my mouth about a statue, and she somehow made the leap to that. Okay, what do we got here? There are roses scattered on the surface of the water, creating a pleasant fragrance. It's not just for aesthetics. This pool's water is also used in putting out fires. I see. Oh! The pool stopped filling itself automatically. The fountain spouts are set to stay open until the pool's water reaches a certain level. If this water is used to put out fires, I suppose it must be refilled to its normal level, which suggests that this pool was recently used somehow in this embassy. I guess I'll take some notes about it just in case. The fountain. Cool. Well, we did find that pick that has water on it. Oh! No! How dare you surprise me like that? I'm sorry. Why is Larry going for a swim? Oh, hey, Edgy. Thanks for what you did back there. Your gratitude alone is enough. More importantly, Larry, this pool is not for your personal enjoyment. I know that! Do you really think that I'm the type to just jump into a pool and swim around for fun? Yes. All right, then. Did you, by chance, fall into the pool? Nice guess, but no dice. So you know my son, right, Edgy? Your son? I guess I kind of lost sight of him when I shook hands with the ambassador. And I'm pretty sure he was around here when I last saw him. You imbecile, how can you be so flippant at a time like this? What are you going to do if your son fell into the pool? And how old is this child of yours anyway? Come on, he's talking about the infant thing. The Iron Infant. Huh? Oh, how old is he again? Larry, this is the first I've heard of a son. Who exactly is the mother? The mother? Oh, that chick, the Pink Princess. The Pink Princess? Miss Von Karma, I was a bit confused by this man's words for a bit there. However, I believe what he's looking for is the doll of the Iron Infant. Yup, because I'm the Steel Samurai through and through, heart and soul. And the Iron Infant is my cute little son. You have given a whole new meaning to the phrase, an astounding fool. Larry, we have not seen hide nor hair of the Iron Infant, but rest assured that if we should find him, we'll let you know. Now, get out of there. Sounds good. In that case, I'll go search over there. Hey, wait! Well, it's not as if he'll get very far swimming around in that pool. And though he's unrelated to the murders, he sure knows how to cause a lot of trouble. Larry's just there in the pool like the creature from the Black Lagoon. Hey, there's Long, and there's the stage, and there's the doors. Let's look at this statue first. The statue bears a resemblance to the Primadou statue. The plaque says King Primadou in the battlefield. In order to save the queen, King Primadou put his life on the line and went to war. So Primadou was actually a person of royal blood. I thought he was simply someone imitating a character from an ancient legend. Well, what surprises me is that a real person who looked like the Steel Samurai existed. I suppose there's that, too. More spotlights, and then this. There are some beautiful roses here. They appear to be well maintained. You're being too nice, Miles Edgeworth. The arrangement is devoid of any design sense. Roses only truly shine when they're grouped by color. One color per location. They lose their beauty when they're all mixed together like this. I can't tell if she's being sarcastic or not. On second thought, there's a rather serious look on her face. I'd better leave it be. They should really rethink the proper balance of these roses. Of all the people to comment on the proper balance of things. You want all the roses to be by themselves. I see. I suppose Ambassador Alba sat in this chair? Ambassador Alba is very elderly. The chair was prepared for him should he have gotten tired during his speech. In that case, why didn't he plan to make his speech sitting down in the first place? The ambassador is also quite prideful, that's why. He sounds like my old principal from grade school who'd speak at assemblies. I guess. What do we got here? So this is where Ambassador Alba was to give his speech. The stage was set up real nicely. However, where was the audience supposed to sit? Perhaps they were supposed to sit around the edge of the pool? That's such poor planning. If there was no place other than a spot or two by the pool. They really should have made seating arrangements, like how the gallery is set up in court. Indeed, you can sense that consideration for the viewers was taken with those. So in the end, the speaker and his audience were to stand the whole time, huh? Yes, although I suspect the audience would have liked to sit down after a while. I mean, this is a kind of a tiny rose garden. That'd be a lot of people having to fit in here. Alright, what do we got? The Men in Black. How is the investigation proceeding on your end? Wangji says, that's top secret. If you're going to attempt to imitate your superior, at least do it well. I don't suppose he believes in the accidental leakage of information. No, he's not a gumshoeist. Let's talk to Francisco before we talk to Long. Yes, the investigation. Tonight, in this very rose garden, the Alabastian ambassador, Quercus Alba, was to give a commemorative speech. A very key commemorative speech at that, and including Agent Long, the security detail was very tight. But as if to mock our efforts, the Yatagarasu appears. Then, just like that, the thief vanishes and starts a fire at the Babalese embassy. Interesting. And are you sure it was the Yatagarasu who appeared here? Of course. But to have slipped by such tight security, and then disappear into thin air, we will need to conduct a very thorough investigation of this area. Yes, my thoughts exactly. In order to find out the truth behind what happened here, I should start by gathering as much information as I can. Alright, let's talk to Long then.
Have you finished checking out all the bystanders?
Yes, sir. And we found 14 counts of pickpocketing, 16 counts of illegal parking, and 1 person ran a light, sir.
Don't tell me you didn't find anything related to the case.
Sir, not a single thing, sir.
Well, for now, let's just get those other lawbreakers down to the precinct.
That's a lot of pickpocketing. Agent Long?
Well, if it isn't Mr. Prosecutor.
I would just like to thank you for your assistance earlier.
Make no mistake, it's not like I was trying to help you with what I did.
After I left, did you receive word from Ambassador Alba?
We're to wrap up our bodyguard assignment at the end of today. Oddly enough, we received word from HQ to return home on an urgent matter. As if I can be so easily called away from this case after I've come this far. I swear that I'll find the truth and drag it out, screaming into the light.
You might even say he won't rest until he investigates every single suspicious-looking nook and cranny.
You're with me on that, right, Mr. Prosecutor?
Let's see. The Yatagarasu's appearance. You were working as Ambassador Alba's bodyguard at the time, so naturally you witnessed when the Yatagarasu appeared, correct?
Yeah, I saw the thief all right, with my own 2 eyes. The Yatagarasu was always there, lurking in the shadows. But when the spotlights were turned on for Ambassador Alba's speech, a shadow appeared. That's when cries of, "It's the Yatagarasu!" rang out. The next second, the spotlight went out. And by the time we got the area lit again, the deaf thief had vanished. When we investigated afterwards, we found that the reason the lights went out was because someone had unplugged the extension plug for all the outdoor electronics. Whether it was someone doing it on purpose, or simply a guest who had tripped over it, we don't know. But one thing is for certain, the Yatagarasu was here.
So you're saying that basically all you saw was the thief's silhouette?
Yes.
If all you saw was a shadow, then it's entirely possible that the shadow belonged to someone else.
Ha! Good thinking, sis. You just might be right. If we weren't for the fact that there was no one else with that same shape, not among the staff or the audience members. My men have already done a thorough check of everyone, so I know I'm right.
I want to know how that went down. Just like, hey, you, do you happen to have a feather coat hidden somewhere on you? Someone else's shadow. That sounds like a plausible hypothesis. The suddenly appearing and disappearing shadow of the Yatagarasu. I believe I figured out its true origin. I expected no less from my subordinate. Now, let's hear what you know on the subject. What really cast the shadow of the Yatagarasu? Was it this? Or, hang on a second, can I go over here? I can't go over there, I don't think. Was it this guy? The suddenly appearing and disappearing shadow of the Yatagarasu. Is it not possible that it was created by this statue?
Are you playing me for a fool, Miles Edgeworth? This statue bears absolutely no resemblance to the shadow of the Adigarasu. You are correct. However, this statue is but one part of the whole picture. What do you mean by only one part? What is the other part of the real form of the Adigarasu's shadow? Is it this? The leaf? We got a potential. Let's see. Can't hang on. Oh, I have to actually click on it. Is there a way to do that without having the keyboard or the mouse? Is it this? Is it both statues? That's what I'm just kind of wondering. Like, because look, if one of these was on there and one of these was there, I mean, that's very stupid. That's very, very stupid. Everyone thought that it was the Adigarasu based off of the statues that are obviously there, but you know what? Hard to say. Let's see. Let's just see. It's another statue. The Adigarasu's shadow was made from the shadows of these two statues. Made? What do you mean by that? Right now, the spotlights are all over the place. This is because they were moved when the guests were in a panicked state. However, if we were to restore the lights to where they were when the thief appeared, you believe that the two shadows will create the Adigarasu's shadow? Precisely. Now then, watch as I reveal the true form of the Adigarasu. First, if we set up a spotlight to cast a shadow of King Primidu in the battlefield, the shadow of the king's statue would appear on the backdrop of the stage. Likewise, if we set a light up on the queen who spoke of love to King Primidu, her silhouette would also appear on the backdrop to the stage. Aha! So, if we were to combine the two shadows, it looks nothing like the Adigarasu shadow. Miles Edgeworth, how do you explain this grotesque shape? Calm down, Francisca. The way the light needs to be shown on the queen's statue is wrong. What do you mean by that? I believe that the whole of the king's shadow needs to be used for this work. However, in the case of the queen, I don't believe her whole shadow was needed. Rather, the person who created the shadow only used one part of her shadow. Only one part? Yes, and that part alone is enough to fill in the rest of the Adigarasu's shadow. It's her hand, right? Why didn't you say that in the first place? You're right. I apologize. Now, what part of the queen statue was used to complete the Adigarasu's shadow? Her hand. Think back to what is missing in our shadow. 5 long, thin areas, correct? Now, what does that remind you of? Ah, that's right. It can only be the shadow of the queen's left hand. Francisca, can you please adjust the spotlight's position so that it only shines on the queen's left hand? All right, let's give it a try and see what we get. Huh. Yeah, this is exactly like the shadow I saw. The culprit must have changed the spotlight's positioning beforehand, and then pulled the plug after people saw what the culprit wanted them to see. In their panic, the guests must have moved the spotlights around, which we can assume was also part of the culprit's plan. By the time the lights came back on, the Adigarasu's shadow had vanished, which means that the shadow was a construct from the very beginning. So you see, the Adigarasu never did visit Alabast tonight. The only country that thief visited was Babal, although it can be assumed that the Adigarasu had an accomplice in Alabast. An accomplice? But who? I haven't figured that out yet, but I assume it was the person who set up the shadow show. It seems that the biggest clue yet to solving this case is the existence of this accomplice. Investigation complete. How's the investigation going, says someone. Is that, is it gonna be bad? Yep. Detective Bad, have you come to join us in investigating the Adigarasu? I left the murder in Agent Long's charge, and my only target from the very beginning is the Yatagarasu. So yes.
So, what have you found out?
I got a piece of evidence.
May I see it?
Sure. But you might regret it.
We're here because we are ready to face whatever may come. So if you please.
When people heard the commotion, bystanders started gathering. And one woman claimed, "I'm telling you, I'm a genuine international journalist." She gave me an interesting picture.
Oh no, it's Lotta. A journalist?
Well, actually, she's a freelance cameraman. This is the photo I got from her.
What the heck? What in the world? The Yatagarasu was flying through the air. That looks like a ghost, I'm sorry. She found an ectoplasm.
The times, they are a-changing. It's not just man, but evidence. Even they lie to us now.
When was this photo taken?
Apparently right after the fires, on the 4th and 5th floors were put out. It was taken from a nearby building that you can see the embassy from.
I see. So this was taken after the fire. Alright, alright.
The blur in this picture took off from the Ablaze embassy, flew over the boundary, and headed for the embassy of Alabast.
This is simply not possible. People are incapable of flight. Is that a fact? I've had the pleasure of dealing with a case involving a flying person once. Yeah, we've had a display. Wait, hang on a second. Francisca, objection. You have also dealt with a case involving a flying person. I know you don't want to think about it because it's the circus case, but you absolutely did. Actually, come to think of it, I've come across a case like that as well. 2, actually. Okay, thank you. Wait, 2 of them. What was the second one? Help me, chat. What was the second one? I know the first one's the circus case. I can't remember what the second one is. Is it, oh, is it the bridge one? Is it Bridge to the Turnabout? Where, Larry had the picture of the corpse flying across?
Maybe it happens more often than we think.
It's just something that we've internalized now. Just, yeah, there's a murder, and yeah, somebody flew in it. It is what it is. It can't be helped. Am I up to the task of solving the mystery behind this photograph? Well, the Yatagarasu took off from the Babali's embassy, so I should start from there. Francisca, I need to return to the Babal investigation for a bit. Alright. Alright, so let's go. Can we talk to... We can talk to him, though, too. Seems like we need jurisdiction in the Shadow Realm to track down this suspect. Does anyone have that? We're gonna talk to Hugh Neutron and make sure we can get that from him. Hey there, Edgeworth!
So the Yatagarasu was just a shadow.
The calling card that was sent is what threw everyone off and made them assume things. It's possible that all the events tonight were part of the overall plan.
I'm going to continue investigating on the Alabastian side. You two, as I always say, don't do anything stupid, alright?
I wonder if he's alright. It's unusual for him to be so nice. I think it's simply that he is concerned for our well-being, Francisca. Alright. I'll continue investigating on this side of the building. Alright, I'm counting on you. Welcome back, Mr. Edgeworth. No, come on, let's get back to our investigation. Were you standing there the entire time? Yes, let's. So, let's head this way. So, can we go in here again? If we can. March 14th, 10:37 p.m., Babali's Embassy, Secretariat's Office. To think, after all that running around, we're right back where we started. It would appear that way. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth!
Have you found Manny's killer yet?
I'm terribly sorry, Ambassador Polino, but I have yet to find his killer.
Then I guess his murder really was the work of the Yatagarasu.
Let's get one thing straight. It was the work of the fake Yatagarasu. The real Yatagarasu is a noble vigilante who was only out to steal the truth.
Miss Faraday, please don't make such a sad face. If there's anything I can do for you, all you have to do is ask, all right?
Mr. Polino. Actually, there is one thing you can do. Will you allow us to take another look around? We didn't have enough time to conduct a thorough investigation earlier.
Oh, sure. Please feel free to investigate to your heart's content.
Also, there are a few questions I'd like to ask you personally, Ambassador.
If it will bring a smile back to Miss Faraday's face, then I'll gladly answer anything.
Thank you, Mr. Polino. You're a total gentleman.
You don't have to waste such nice words on me, little miss.
Hey, Sir Polino.
Those two sure got chummy awfully quickly.
You know, it's easy to say we're going to investigate, but where should we begin?
We should probably start by comparing the state of this room before and after the fire. And then we should look into the matter of the suspicious person you spotted.
Yeah, when I came into this room, that person was already gone. But I'm willing to bet that the person I was chasing is Mr. Kochin's killer.
We don't know that yet. However, it's hard to believe that person is unrelated. Furthermore, because the key the Yatagarasu stole 7 years ago was found here, it signals that perhaps Miss Yu is also somehow involved.
I knew it. That woman is almost definitely Mr. Kochin's killer.
Yet again, we don't know that. There are too many mysteries to be solved here. Speaking of the Yatagarasu and mysteries, I received a most mysterious photo from Detective Bad.
Uncle Bad? He's taking part in the investigation too?
Yes, he has been chasing after the Yatagarasu for all these years.
Uncle Bad.
Now then, I was told that this photo was taken just after the fire.
What? This kind of looks like the person in the long coat I was chasing. Does this mean that I was chasing the fake Yatagarasu after all?
I don't know the answer to your question, but I don't think people can fly either.
But this could be how that person escaped.
Well, we'll need to investigate a bit more before we can say anything about that. In any case, let's not dawdle anymore and pick up our investigation where we left off. Beginning the investigation. All right. So we got the window here we can look through. We got the... So last time, Sheena's people were here and we couldn't go past this. So let's see. There's a fireplace. There's a chair. Looks like a gamer chair. And then there is the window. So let's look around. And I see some Bobbleese ink there too. But first, let's look at the fireplace. A fireplace, huh? So Babal's offices have them too.
Two?
There is a fireplace in relatively the same location in the Alabastian office. However, we found something there that I'd rather not recall ever again. I still can't believe that we found that lady's undershirt in the fireplace.
Huh? If it was that traumatizing, why don't you try creating new memories with this fireplace? You could climb inside, and we could play hide and seek.
And come out covered in soot? I think not.
Ah, you really have no sense of fun, Mr. Edgeworth.
Santa Edgeworth. What do we got here? It appears that this area was heavily damaged by the fire.
Yeah, I guess we should hurry up and get started examining everything.
I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. All right, what do we got? It looks like a bunch of flyers with coupons attached to them. Baval sure gives away a lot of different coupons. Maybe I should create one of my own. I could call it the Great Thief Coupon. And what kind of discount would that net you? The 5-finger kind. What else? And I'd steal an extra thing or two for the bearer. Things such as the truth. What else would I steal? What I wouldn't give to have a mountain of your coupons right about now. Lots of truth. Is that... It says Kochin, I think? Manny Kochin. His name is written here on this nameplate. Why would you put a nameplate with your name on it in your own office?
I suppose it's to inform people in case they walked into the wrong room by mistake. Do you think maybe it's also there to remind you of your own name, if you forget? Well, either way, it's never a bad thing to set a nameplate on one's desk. You just forget your name sometimes. I do. There is a bottle of Ablaze ink on Mr. Cochin's desk, and it looks like there's still a lot of ink left inside. The seal is unbroken, so the fire probably couldn't get into the bottle to burn up the ink. Hey, Mr. Polino, it looks like your precious Ablaze ink is alright after all. What? That's odd. Ambassador, what do you mean by that? Well, it's just that there is something strange about the ink. Would you mind elaborating on that statement for me, please? Well, hang on. We'll talk to you in a second. I want to finish looking at this. There's only one book left standing here. Treasures of the World. Wait, what? Let me see that. Uh-huh. I see. Ah! The most important part was blackened by the fire. Why, cruel fate? Why? It looks like the map where the treasures are located has been burnt. That's too bad for 4K. So I guess embassy phones are just like normal phones, huh? Well, what did you imagine them to look like? I thought that babals would look like a flower, and the receiver would be a butterfly. That way, it looked like the butterfly receiver was sucking nectar from the flower base. If any country had a flower phone, it would be Ablaze, don't you think? Oh, then maybe the phone I envisioned would have been from when they were Cadopia. There's really no point in asking me about something that never existed in the first place. You know what you lack, Mr. Edgeworth? Curiosity and an imagination. That's right, Edgeworth, you gotta get with it. It would appear that this desk also fell victim to the fire. But it doesn't look too damaged. Oh, I think we can rifle through this drawer a bit. I suppose we really should take a look. What do we got here? This is a rather unusual shape for a notepad. I suppose this must be another souvenir from somewhere. Yeah, that's a weird looking notepad. It seems that the contents of this drawer survived the fire rather well. Now that's a sturdy desk. I guess that's the value of solid wood construction. Let's see if there's anything useful left in there, Mr. Edgeworth. Doesn't look like it, though. I'm not seeing anything. So, unless we can come back later for that notepad. Let's look at the chair. That looks like a very comfortable chair. Well, it doesn't look all that broken, so why don't you try sitting in it? No, I'd better not. It's very important that we preserve the crime scene at all times. Wait, but you're always touching all sorts of things at crime scenes. That's because I am a prosecutor, and it's part of my job to examine things. And my job is to be a great thief. Which is exactly why you are not allowed to touch anything. Okay, is that... we can do a deduce, too. Oh, I just noticed that. Let's come back, because I think we need to talk to Polino more, but let's also look out the window. You can see the Alabastian embassy through this window. So where were you when you were investigating over there, Mr. Edgeworth? You can see it from here. I was there, on the 5th floor. That's where Damask II was killed. What? You don't mean the Damask II? Aw, poor guy. As a fellow second-generation thief, I can't just turn a blind eye to this. Even though Damask II was merely an imposter of the original? Yes. And then there's where the body was. It appears that Mr. Cochin's body has been taken in for an autopsy. The white outline is all that is left to tell the tale of his murder. Alright. Well, let's talk to Polino. Now then, Ambassador, I'd like to ask about your movements before the fire broke out. Before the fire? Which fire are you talking about? Which one? There was more than one tonight? Huh? Oh, I see. I guess you didn't hear about it. We had 2 fires here at the Ablaze embassy tonight. What a bother all of that was. Boy, Polino, you're just like the plot bomb dropper. Wait, but the only fire we know about is the one after the Jammin' Ninjas show. Well, the first occurred at the start of the Jammin' Ninjas show. Luckily, only the 4th and 5th floors of our embassy caught on fire.
Not wanting to cause a panic among the theater goers, we decided to keep it internal. Then the fire after the Jammin' Ninjas show was the second one of the night? Exactly. So the fire I witnessed was the second one. Come to think of it, didn't Detective Bad make reference to the first fire? When was that? When was this photo taken?
Apparently, right after the fires, on the 4th and 5th floors were put out.
I suppose this means that the photo was taken just after the first fire was put out. Oh, weird. Okay, photo taken after the first fire on the 4th and 5th floors had taken place. Okay. So then, what was the extent of the damage in the second fire? The second fire was contained to this floor, the 3rd floor. I think it was leftover embers from the fire on the floors above it that caused it. That's, how should I put this? A very bad stroke of luck. My office on the 5th floor, Manny's office here, and Manny himself, all gone in the blink of an eye. 2 fires broke out in Babal today. Okay. I feel so sorry for you, Mr. Polano. Oops, look at me going on and on. Now then, what was it you wanted to ask again? We were discussing what your actions and whereabouts for today were. And if you happen to know what Mr. Cochin's actions and whereabouts were as well. Yes, very well. Let's see. I've been quite busy all day from morning until now. First I woke up and then I brushed my teeth. After that, I had a roll for breakfast. Fascinating. How about if you just skip to the relevant parts for me? Oh, you would like a condensed version? All right, I can do that for you. Morning activities, afternoon activities. And then, oh yeah, we need to talk about his ink later too. But let's start morning. So what did Mr. Cochin and you do this morning? Well, originally we were supposed to meet and shake hands with the Jammin' Ninja. But Manny and I wanted to turn it into a photo op. So we were here tidying up his office. You helped clean Mr. Cochin's office. Why were you not cleaning your own? Oh, I think I forgot to mention this, but my office is currently undergoing renovations. Oh! Which is why both the primitive statue and the Ablaze knife set are down here. I see. Oh, but the tidying didn't take much, really. We just burned some files we no longer needed and expired coupons in the fireplace. I bet cleaning up the fireplace must have been a real pain, though, huh? About that, I kind of forgot to clean the ashes out. I guess I am up a creek without Mandy here to get angry at me. An ambassador like yourself has been on the receiving end of a secretary's anger. Oh, he was very good at being mad. Why, even just this morning, he got mad at me. I spilled some Ablaze ink onto the back wall when I was burning the files, you see. And he got mad at me, saying that I should treat the ink with more respect. Talk about the boss getting bossed around. Alright. That's about it for what we did this morning, just some cleaning. Don't tell me you had no other work to do, being an ambassador and all. Afternoon activities. Now then, if you could tell me what you and Mr. Cochin did this afternoon. Well, Manny and I went down together to the Theatrum Neutralis. We had to be there for the start of the Steel Samurai stage show. After the show started, I went back to my office on the 5th floor alone. So they were together until the start of the Steel Samurai show. A little while later, after I'd straightened myself up a bit, I returned to the theater, because I was to take part in the photo op on stage at the end of the show. There was a commemorative photo op at the end. It was a fantastic photo of the three of us, Ambassador Alba, the Steel Samurai, and myself. After the photo shoot, I went back to my office on the 5th floor to prepare for my handshake photo op with the Jammin' Ninja. He seems to be rather overworked for an ambassador. When I got to my office, that's when the first fire broke out and I escaped down the stairs. My office was completely destroyed, but thankfully no one was hurt. I admit I ran away from the first fire as fast as my legs could carry me. But during the second one, I pitched in and helped the embassy staff put it out. So you didn't see Mr. Cochin again after the start of the Steel Samurai show? Yes, that's right. The next time I saw him, he was lying there in an eternal sleep.
I see.
Ambassador Polino, I thank you very much for your help. I'm sorry I couldn't be of more assistance, Mr. Edgeworth. If there's anything else, please don't hesitate to ask, all right? What about the ink? I wonder if you might tell me what you noticed about Mr. Cochin's bottle of ink. I just thought of it right now, but during the second fire, Manny was worried about his office. So he came rushing back to it. I called out to him, and when I received no reply, I used my spare key to open the door. But when I did, I was greeted by roaring green flames. The flames were so big that I wasn't able to see into the room at all. The fire was green? What was the cause? Well, wet crystal oil burns greens when it's lit, as you can see by this lantern. And Ablaze ink is made from the same oil, which means it would also burn green. You know, I too had thought it was Manny's ink that had caught on fire. That's why I was surprised to find out there was still a bottle of ink left on his desk. The case of the perplexing green flames. Talk about a mystery. What exactly was it that caught on fire in here? That's a very good question. Huh. And then he also gave us that bubbly souvenir. Alright. Well, how about we look... Because we have to deduce something, right? Easy explanation. The Shadow Beast can summon fell fire. Oh no! Is it a warlock? Let's see. So let's look at this weird, notepad we have here. Can we deduce? Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Because it's the only thing that's unique. No, the pick. Oh! Hang on a second. The note is the same. It's got that same little indent. You see, like right here? There's like a little indent. And that has it as well. So hang on a second. Was Manny Cochin the one who wrote this? Let's see. The shape of this notepad matches the shape of this note we found. Hey, you're right. What is it? It looks like something straight out of Monument Valley. Oh, yes. That notepad is a souvenir from somewhere in your country. We've been collecting them for the purpose of studying them, you see. Yes, I do. You do seem to be quite passionate about it. Oh, would you like to see my souvenir collection? I'd love to show it to you. Are you sure they haven't been burned to a crisp by the fires? Ambassador Polino, I wonder if you might recognize the handwriting on this note. This looks like Manny's handwriting. I see. In that case... Oh, did you figure something out? This note was found in Alabast. Specifically, it was found being firmly grasped by the murdered Damask II. Damask II? To this note? Yes, it was a request from Mr. Cochin for Damask to steal the Primitive statue. What? Manny tried to steal Alabast's Primitive statue? We would know for sure if we could run a handwriting analysis. Ambassador, do you have any documents that were handwritten by Mr. Cochin? Yes, I can gather a few and give them to you. I'll have to ask Detective Gumshoe later to run the analysis. I can't believe that Manny would even think of doing something like this. Do you have any idea as to why he would have requested the theft of the statue? There is one possibility, but mind you, it's just my personal speculation. Anything you can tell me would be of great help, Ambassador. Yeah, let's talk. Job for Damask II. I believe that you said you might have an idea as to why Mr. Cochin hired Damask II. Actually, I fear it may be my fault. As I was telling you earlier, we were to determine which statue was the real one as part of today's event. But because of the Atagarasu and the fire here, that got cancelled, didn't it? I'm actually relieved the rest of the event has been cancelled. For you see, the ball statue, well, it's just a replica. And did Mr. Cochin know that about the Ball's primitive statue? Of course he knew. That's why he was the only person I could consult with. We'd have to do something once our statue was revealed as a replica. As to be expected, I was very nervous today, as this would impact our country's authority.
Yes, I understand.
Well, when I told Manny my concerns, he said, "Let me handle it, it'll be all right. I'll find a way to make sure you're the ambassador of the reunited Cadopia." At the time, I thought he was just trying to cheer me up. But when I saw that note, I realized he was serious. Mr. Cochin conducted a lot of business behind your back. I assume he did all that to ensure that you are the next Cadopian ambassador. But why was he trying so hard, I wonder? He was so much better at getting things done than I ever was, or will be. I don't have an answer yet as to why he was trying so hard. But I suspect he had an ulterior motive in mind beyond just simple kindness.
Oh, here you are, Mr. Edgeworth!
Detective Gumshoe, have you collected the information that I requested?
Yep, got it all right here, sir. Here you go, Kay. Feel free to take a look. It's for you, after all.
What is all this, Gummy?
It's all the information on this room that I got from the embassy and Interpol people. Now we know exactly how this room was before and after the fire.
Oh, we're gonna use the little thief. Good work, Detective.
Oh, it was nothing, sir. I'm an expert at getting people to talk.
Wow, you two remind me so much of my father and Uncle Bad.
What do you mean?
As prosecutor and detective, your dynamic is just like theirs back in the day. Well, don't you worry. I'm gonna find my own wonderful partner someday. And when I do, I'm gonna become a good Yatagarasu, just like my father, right?
Please don't ask me questions to which I have no answers to, Kay.
However, I can say that it is truly a wonderful thing to find a partner you can trust. You bet. So what now, Mr. Edgeworth?
Well, I'd like to ask you for a favor.
Yes? That gadget. Mr. Thief, is it? That thing you call your secret weapon? Oh, you mean Little Thief? You're coming to rely on it, aren't you?
I don't need a crutch like that. I'm only asking because I need it for the investigation. From the information Detective Gumshoe gathered in the ambassador's testimony, I'd like you to please recreate this room as it was during the third floor fire.
You got it. All right, here we go. Dark skies of evening, when no other bird dares take wing, one alone remains all-seeing. Now witness the true power of a real, modern-day Robin Hood.
It seems there are other things besides what the ambassador mentioned that have changed.
It's possible that we might find the escape route the person K saw used as well.
Oh, what is this? Is it some sort of light show I was not told about?
This is the power of a true vigilante. It's recreating the room with the info I inputted.
Really? That is certainly one interesting device you have there, Miss Faraday. I believe it's about time we return to our investigation.
Alright, so the knife's missing, the clock, we got fires, we got the ceiling fan, we got a pile of brochures, we got the flag, we got the chair, we got the window. Let's start from right to left. Let's see. The paraphernalia is still there. Looks like all of the souvenirs suffered some damage from the fire. I don't believe it. Murder on top of arson? What a disgrace to the name of the Yatagarasu. The fake Yatagarasu was guilty of much more than just theft, it seems. I know, because if it were for me, my first priority would be to loot this bookshelf. You would steal ordinary souvenirs that you can buy virtually anywhere? You can't buy them anywhere. Each one is specific to a location and it has its own value. And items that have memories attached to them are the most valuable of all. But could you really rob someone of their valuable memories just like that? No, because even if I take the souvenir, I can't take the owner's memories. That's a good point. Looks like one of the Bobbly's knives was already missing before the fire began. So it would seem, especially since the other two knives' handles were burned away. The remaining handle was swapped out with the handle from the real murder weapon. And Babal's national treasure was stolen. Poor Babal, don't you think? I'm not sure I would lump the replica statue in with the rest of Babal's woes. What about this? This grandfather clock. It was apparently in a different position before the fire. According to staff members, the clock was flush against the wall before the fire, sir. Which means that most likely it was moved by someone during the fire. Speaking of which, it's totally 11 o'clock now, but I don't hear any chiming. Huh? That's odd. It was still chiming right on the dot of every hour this morning. Maybe the fire damaged its internal mechanisms or something. Ambassador Polino, maybe take a look inside that clock. Sure, go right ahead. Detective Gumshoe, if you could please inspect the insides of this clock. Yes, sir! I'm on it! Mr. Edgeworth, I found this inside, sir! It looks like a length of wire, so this is what caused the clock to stop chiming. But what was a long length of wire doing inside this clock in the first place? The wire data jotted down in my organizer. Why would someone do this to such a valuable clock? It sounds like it wasn't Mr. Polino that put the wire in there. Then perhaps it was Mr. Cochin's killer who did. Perhaps. There's the fire. These must have been the large green flames Ambassador Polino saw. With flames like these, it's no wonder he couldn't get in. Okay, by the time you came into this room, had the fire already been put out? Yeah, the fire had died out or something by that time. Then this fire in here only burned from the time the fire started on the 3rd floor until the Adagarasu appeared and caused a stir in Babal, I suppose. I guess Mr. Polino was just lucky enough to run into the fire as it was burning, huh? Yes, you could put it that way. And since you were the first to discover the body, we can assume that no one else entered the room until that time. No one other than the person you were chasing, of course. I knew it. That person I saw was definitely up to no good. I mean, that person could even be Mr. Cochin's killer. That is very likely to be the case. After all, that person came into this room before you, and must have chosen this room precisely because they knew no one would be in here. Okay, then maybe the green fire was where it was to prevent anyone from coming in? But then, what did the person set on fire to make the green flames? Well, whatever it is that person burned, it made a rather sizable fire. And since the fire is green, well, we've seen something that burns green, right? It's a bit tinier than those flames, but you get what I mean. Yes, and I do believe that what you are thinking is exactly why these flames are green. Which fire-related piece of evidence burns the same color as these green flames? Why, of course, it's the ink! The source of the green in these flames is related to this. Oh, really? Well, I don't think they're related at all. Huh? Oh. Sorry, it really isn't related after all. Hey, you want to say apologize this time for being wrong? What? I'm always honest. And that's a good thing. Now just keep on doing it. I need to think about this a bit more carefully. If I stay calm, the answer should come to me. Okay, so it's not the ink? Okay. Which piece of evidence burns the same as these green flames? The silhouette lantern, but that doesn't make any sense, does it? Or does it? So it's not the ink. Fire-related piece of evidence. Is it the lantern? It is. This silhouette lantern, its green flame comes from the wit crystal oil it's burning. Yeah, that's the fire I was thinking of too. I love the green it gives off. I think we've now established that the green flames were caused by wit crystal oil. Furthermore, we know that there is only one other thing made from wit crystal oil. Oh, you mean that thing Mr. Polino was mistaken about, right? Yes, precisely, as we found out earlier in our investigation.
What? I don't get it. Can you, fill me in, sir?
Fine, I suppose. I'll explain it in a way that even you can understand. This is the thing made from wit crystal oil that Ambassador Polino was mistaken about. Oh, now it's the ink. Yeah. Babali's ink is made from wit crystal oil. Oh, so it should burn the same color as the flames in the lantern, right?
Yes, precisely. However, the green flames in this room were not from the bottle of Ablaze ink. Because we found the ink Mr. Cochin used on his desk, right? Yes. However, we know that Mr. Cochin was smuggling the ink in massive quantities. Now, what do you suppose he made using all that ink? I believe what he made with that ink is the answer to what gave birth to the green flames.
Oh yeah, I'm beginning to really feel the energy coming from you, Mr. Edgeworth.
It would appear that I've finally found it. The smuggling ring's real gold. Made of Ablaze ink, this is the source of the green flames.
Oh, was it the bills?
What would consume that great of a volume of ink to make? That would be the counterfeit bills that the smuggling ring made and are circulating in Jingfa.
You're kidding! You're saying that it was Mr. Cochin who made the counterfeit bills?
I am. I believe you could even go so far as to say that he stole Babal's printing press. Ambassador, Mr. Cochin had permission to freely use the printing press, correct?
Well, yes, and I do remember seeing him use it in the middle of the night. But never did I think he was using it for such a foul deed.
Ambassador, because of your secretary's crimes, you will need to be investigated as well.
Yes, I suppose so. We've caused a bit of trouble for a few countries, haven't we?
It's my duty to search out all who shielded Mr. Cochin and concealed his crime. Well, they are the ones who started the fire in order to destroy the evidence. Counterfeit bills, yeah. Cool. Alright, we have the ceiling fan we can look at, too. It's the charred remains of a fallen ceiling fan.
Oh, I've seen a few of these before. They spin around and around and play music.
I believe you're thinking of a musical mobile for babies.
Yes, that's it.
But they're nothing alike.
They're totally alike. They spin those babies right round, like a record.
Oh no! We have a reference to Dead or Alive. The band, not the game. I see. I guess I can see how you might think that. Anything else? Charred remains. So... what about this?
So Babal was really into pushing their tourism industry, huh?
Yes, it would appear that way.
You know, I'd really love to take a trip. Hey, why don't we take one after this case?
Do you already have a destination in mind?
Well, ideally, I'd like to go someplace where I can continue my thief training.
Well, if you want to learn the fine art of stealth, perhaps you should visit the studio where they make the Jam and Ninja TV show.
Hey, that's actually a really great idea, Mr. Edgeworth.
I can't believe she took me seriously.
Great.
And what's this? This safe wasn't open at the time of the fire.
You could tell because the inside wasn't burnt, right?
Yes, and thanks to this safe's fire resistance, the smuggling evidence was preserved.
Aren't safes great? They always hold the wonderful promise of treasures within.
Well, this one certainly did have a few inside. What do we got here? A fireplace, huh? So Babal's offices have them too.
Two?
There is a fireplace in relatively the same location in the Alabastian office. However, we found something there that I'd rather not recall ever again. I can't believe that we found that undershirt in the fireplace.
Huh? Was that traumatizing?
Oh, she already said all this stuff. I'm inside, we can play hide and seek, right? No soot, no sooty Edgeworth. The chair. That looks like a very comfortable chair. Oh. The chair is not important, I guess. Okay. Yeah, it's the same dialogue. Come on. Why say it's new if it's not the same? Come on, game. Get with it. What about the window? You can see the Alabastian embassy through this window. Wait, is this the same thing? This is the same conversation. Yeah. Yep, this is the same conversation. Well, alright. I'm trying to think, like, do we have enough logical things to connect? We don't. Let's see. We could talk to Kay, I guess. Little Thief. Ready for a review on how to use Little Thief? Okay, here we go. Objects outlined in yellow are things that are not present in our time, but were in the past.
Things outlined in a dotted line are things that exist now but didn't in the past. I see. You can examine and interact with replicated people and objects as you normally do. You can even present evidence wherever you find an inconsistency. I would be sure to point out mistakes in the recreation with evidence too. I think I remember now. Thank you for the refresher course, Kay. If there's something you don't get about Little Thief, feel free to ask anytime, okay? The investigation. I've inputted all of the info we got from Gummy and Ambassador Poleno. With this recreation, you should be able to tell what changed because of the fire. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, let's try investigating this room one more time.
Yes, let's.
In order to find out what truly happened here in this room, we will need to gather more information from this room. Time to take another look. Notice anything? Looks like it was quite the fire, huh? Yes, it appears the flames spread fairly quickly to some of the other rooms as well. Yeah, but thanks to Gummy's info, I was able to recreate this room. Plus, the burnt stuff is still lying around, so you can check those as well. The state of this room before and after the fire. I can probably obtain some new information by comparing the differences. Yes, that's what I'll do, and use any new information to complete my logic. So, let's see if we have any logic we can use. The Ablaze embassy is undergoing renovations from top to bottom and connected fireplaces. Ambassador Alba's office fireplace is connected to the neighboring room's fireplace. I don't think those are important. Maybe not. We'll see. Can we talk to... No, we can't talk to him. We've already looked at that. So by this time, the primitive statues had already been swamped, right? They must have been, as this one is covered in soot. What lousy timing. And just as the two countries were about to become friends again, too. It would have been better if I had stolen it than for it to get caught up in the fire. Okay, I think I understand your sentiment. However, if you were to engage in theft, I can't look the other way, right? If you could please stop stealing my lines. And then we can talk to Gumshoe as well. Detective, you took part in the initial Babal investigation, correct?
Yep, sure did. I also helped put out both fires, sir. But that first fire took me by surprise. I had a tough time escaping the 5th floor. First, I tried the elevator, but I guess someone else had the same idea because it was in use. If I hadn't remembered to use the stairs at that point, I'd have been burnt to a crisp.
Wait, that's odd. We always warn our staff that in the case of a fire, it's dangerous to use the elevator. Oh? Maybe someone wrote it in a fit of panic? Detective, did you see the Yatagarasu that came into the Ablaze embassy at all?
I didn't personally, and the other staff members told me they never got a good look at the person either, sir.
I wonder if you could tell me a bit more about what you discovered, Detective. During the fire.
The second fire broke out around the time the Yatagarasu was spotted in Alabast. That's also when a suspicious person was spotted in Babal, which caused some panic.
So no one was able to get a good look at this Yatagarasu that entered Babal?
Yeah, all they saw was a mysterious person wearing a long coat. But that's not enough to make a positive ID, you know.
Still, it was enough to make the people who received the calling card panic even more. A person in a long coat. Sounds like the exact same person I saw. The Yatagarasu that appeared in Alabast was proven to be just a fabrication, a shadow. In light of that fact, the Yatagarasu that appeared in Babal is also a suspect. You can't be serious. Not when we're this close to capturing the fake. I mean, Callisto, you. So the Yatagarasu appeared, caused mass confusion, killed Mr. Kojin, then disappeared. Okay. Pinpoint. Yeah, a lot's happened. Quite a bit. We're now investigating this embassy again using the Little Thief. By the way, Detective, why did you not chase after the Yatagarasu?
I did, but, well, this embassy is huge, sir. I got separated from the other staff members I was with, and we was lost for a while there.
You didn't even memorize the layout of the building you were to guard, Detective?
I'll be sure to do that from now on, sir. But you know, it was thanks to me being lost that I was able to come to Kay's rescue.
Oh, is that a fact?
Yeah, it was when I was lost and wandering around in the 3rd floor hallway, sir. When I heard a scream, I headed towards it right away.
Oh, that's probably from when I found Mr. Cochin's body. Yeah, I thought it sounded like her, so I got real worried and ran as fast as I could. And it was thanks to Gummy that Mrs. Sheena wasn't able to take me away. He covered for me until you got here, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, I see. So he can be useful once in a blue moon. Still, it's too bad that Agent Sheena got here before I did.
I wonder where Agent Sheena was before you found her here.
Well, just before I got to this room, I saw her coming out of the room next door.
Oh, really? Agent Sheena mentioned something about chasing the Yatagarasu herself earlier.
Well, she apparently helped in putting out the first fire. Then, during the second fire, I heard she was busy chasing the Yatagarasu.
She seems to be a very dedicated agent. You would do well to learn from her.
Why are you pointing at me when you say that, sir?
We've examined everything in this office, but there's one thing that bothers me. Perhaps I should ask Ambassador Poleno about it. Ambassador Poleno, there is something I'd like to ask you about.
Yes?
About this office, it appears to me to be very similar to Ambassador Alba's office. For example, the location of the fireplace and the position of the grandfather clock.
Oh, that's right. You've also paid a visit to the Alabastian side of the embassy. Our two embassies actually used to be one.
Yes, I know, even the pamphlet mentioned that.
Which is why the building is bilaterally symmetrical.
Oh my.
So no matter which room, the location of the fireplace and the like are exactly the same. Even when where the art is located is the same. As my room is currently under renovation, we worked hard to make Manny's room look like the ambassador's office.
You mean for your handshake photo op with the Jammin' Ninja?
Yes, that's right.
I mean, what's a photo like that worth if it's not taken in the ambassador's office, right? Yet another odd expression of Babal's obsessively competitive spirit with Alabast, I take it. Thank you, Ambassador. That piece of information is all I needed to connect the dots.
Connect what dots? Well, anyway, I'm glad I was able to be of some help.
Good. So, that means we have what we need for logicking. Bilaterally symmetrical connected fireplaces. That's big. Yeah. The Alabastian and Babalese sides of this building are symmetrical to each other. As we know that to be a fact, then this room's fireplace may also hide a secret passageway. A secret passageway? In Alabast, the fireplace turned out to have a revolving back wall.
A revolving wall? It sounds like something out of a ninja house. Wow, there was a trick like that built into the fireplace, sir?
What? This embassy holds that kind of secret? There seems to be a lot about this room that you don't know about, Ambassador. I guess it's time to pay the bill for letting Manny do so much work for me. Please, I really want to know about the real Manny, and what you know about this room.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Edgeworth? Let's get to the bottom of this.
Agreed. My first thought is that it's likely the killer used the revolving fireplace. It looks like just another fireplace, though, doesn't it? So, how do you turn it again? In Alabast, I had to push where the X was on the far wall of the fireplace.
Oh, I see an X back there, sir. Let's see what happens when I push it. Ah, you scared me, sir.
There is something about this fireplace that lies in contradiction to the facts. Huh? But we found an X where you thought there'd be one, right? We did, but that's not what I was referring to. Something is missing from this scene. What does this contradiction mean for us? I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook, and I guess in a cranny. Let's see. You push this X mark, and the fireplace wall should turn.
A revolving fireplace wall? That's neat, sir. We should hurry up and...
Wait, Detective, there is something we need to examine about this first. Besides which, there is also something I'd like to test.
Like what, sir?
I'll tell you later, Detective. For now, let's continue with the investigation. What? All I see inside this fireplace is starter wood. Huh? That's odd. It doesn't match up with what Mr. Poleno said earlier. What is the meaning of this contradiction? Right, because he said they burnt some documents, right?
and he didn't clean it. He said that they burnt documents and didn't clean them. So why is it clean? Let's see. What would point us to that? The bills? This points out exactly what is so contradictory about the fireplace as it currently is. And what exactly is that?
It's okay if you don't see it, Kay. I don't really get it either, but I figure it's just too splendid for me to understand. So come on, Mr. Edgeworth. Why don't you tell us what exactly is so contradictory?
I can't exactly admit to being wrong if Detective Gumshoe is the one asking. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. My youth only lasts for so long, you know? Yes, well, let's take another look at the fireplace first, shall we? Okay, so we're not right. Well, what do we have in evidence? Wire, Ambassador Plano. Spilled Ablaze ink onto the back wall while burning files in fireplace. Left ashes there. Okay, that's it. Ambassador Polino, you said that you burned some old files in this fireplace today, correct? Yes, I burned quite a few files this morning, actually. And after you did, you forgot to clean out the ashes from the fireplace, correct? That's right. Why are you asking? And why are you making such a scary face? I'm sorry, I admit I'm a bit intimidating when I'm serious. In any case, take a good look at this fireplace and tell me what you find odd about it. Let's see. Huh? Where did all the ashes go? Yeah, they're missing. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Edgeworth?
You don't really think that Ambassador Polino is lying, do you?
No, there's no reason for him to lie. And I don't believe his testimony is wrong either. It is the fireplace that is causing the contradiction. Okay, I wonder if you might update the fireplace data for me. You got it. I'll add in the ashes from the burnt files and... Sounds like we've pretty much figured everything out now, huh? Well, it was nothing. All I did was follow where our leads led us. Oh, I sense it coming on. You're about to dazzle us again, right?
Oh, you mean that? Well, it's what Mr. Edgeworth is known for, you know.
There is really no need for you two to dance around the name of what I'm about to do. I'm about to... Stand back, everybody. I'm about to logic. I had to check this area earlier, but it never hurts to take another look. The ashes Ambassador Polino left here have disappeared. If we follow where this piece of information leads, we should begin to see the truth. It's time to use your secret weapon, right?
Yeah, go on, sir. Use your special skill.
I'll ignore your strange phrasing for now and focus on the information we have instead. They're metagaming. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Logic. So, the missing ashes and the fireplace was used. That seems to be a big connection. The reason as to why the ashes are missing is simple. It's not because someone cleaned them up, right? No, because even if someone did sweep them up, the fireplace is too clean for that. Ambassador Polino said that he spilled some Ablaze ink while he was burning the files, and yet there is not a trace of the spilled ink on the back wall anywhere. Well then, I don't know what happened. Well, I'll tell you what happened. The two sides were switched. By using the revolving fireplace wall, the ashes were moved into the neighboring room, which means that this is a clear indication that the fireplace was used. All right, nice. Then you mean the person I was chasing disappeared from this room through there? Yes, I believe the person you were in pursuit of is Mr. Cochin's killer. And after committing the murder, escaped through the fireplace. Interesting. Wow, Mr. Edgeworth, you figured out the killer's escape route. I have, but this is only the beginning. Now we have to chase the killer down. So, hang on a second. Renovations. Escaped. The person Kay was chasing used the fireplace to escape into the next room.
Okay. So, what do we do now? It appears that the desk is largely unchanged from before the fire. Yeah, it just got a little burnt, that's all. It's a very fine desk. I'm sure that even now it's still usable. If it's that great, why don't you trade your desk with it? No. It was just a suggestion. You didn't have to get all monosyllabic on me, you know? Okay. Edgeworth likes his desk, I guess. Alright. Well, let's see. Sheena was in the room next to Mr. Cochin's office up until she tried to arrest Kay. And someone... Wait, are we leading to this? That someone escaped to the next room and Sheena was in there? So Sheena would know? Or what? Let's see. Yeah. If the killer used the fireplace in this room to escape into the next, then it's only logical for us to talk with the person who was in the neighboring room.
Well, the person that was in the next room was... oh, it was that person, sir.
Yes, Detective. Agent Sheena. Investigation complete. Nice. It's looking more and more like Miss Sheena is the killer, isn't it? Let's not jump to conclusions yet. We need to go through what we know so far. She came running straight into this room from the next one and instantly accused you. Furthermore, she claimed that it could only have been you that killed Mr. Cochin. I don't have any proof yet, however, I know she is hiding something from us. Okay then, why don't we go ask Miss Sheena herself? No, not yet. There's something that needs to be done first. Detective Gumshoe.
Sir, it's my turn to do something, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, I have a two-part special assignment for you. First, I need you to run a handwriting analysis on Damask II's note.
Okay, I'll get the lab boys on that right away.
Second, I want you to see if you can fit through the revolving fireplace wall.
Right now, sir?
No, next decade. Of course now! We need to test our hypothesis first, don't we?
Go on, Gummy. You can do it. All right, I'm gonna do this like a real man. Here I go. Through the fireplace and back.
You shouldn't need to psych yourself up that much for such a simple task, Detective.
Wow, the wall inside the fireplace really did turn.
That's so neat. Now I want to try going through there too. There really is a secret passageway through there. I had no idea. It would appear that the ash really was pushed into the other room. Furthermore, the Bobblese ink you spilled, Ambassador, is there on the back wall.
Okay, here I go, sir.
Detective, I'd like you to go through there under the same conditions as the killer.
Huh? But there's all that ash and stuff.
And your point is? Now we're short on time, so if you could please hurry on through.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we pretty much have the whole picture, right? No, not yet. There remains a few more mysteries to solve. Such as the Atagarasu's whereabouts, the other smuggling ring members, the two weapons that made it across the border, the key Miss Yu stole 7 years ago. In fact, we haven't figured out a thing regarding how Miss Yu is related to these embassies. Mr. Edgeworth, a number of pieces connect in a very complicated way in this case. It's almost enough to make one completely mentally exhausted. What are you saying, Mr. Edgeworth? I thought you were the one who said that it's easy if you follow the leads. Was that supposed to be an impression of me, Kay? If it's info gathering you need, Gummy, and I can help with that, then all you'd have to do is show off your fancy schmancy logical deductions. Show off? Does it seem like I'm being boastful when I do that? Well, let's not overcomplicate matters, okay, Mr. Edgeworth? We've been so focused, like a laser, on only what seems strange and out of place. It's no wonder nothing's clicked, and we haven't unlocked anything yet. But if we think things through calmly, the answer should come to us. Okay? That's the sort of thing I say to myself when I'm practicing how to unlock padlocks, you know. That is something that I hope practice doesn't make perfect for your sake. Yay! Looks like you're back to your straight-laced self again.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm back, sir.
And you look clean. Yes, I can see that. Good work, Detective.
It looks like you could use that fireplace like a door, sir.
Are you all right, Gummy?
I'm okay. I'm just a bit of ash and dust, that's all.
Your jacket has gotten quite filthy. I see the hem has practically turned black.
Yeah, well, quite a bit of the unburned ink got on it, sir.
It doesn't look dirty to me. They didn't bother updating his model.
Huh, I see.
Thank you, Detective. You did a fine job. I'll even pay the cleaning bill for the trench coat.
What? Oh, no, sir, I could never. This is just my old coat, sir. Hey, if it was a coat I actually cared about, then I'd get it cleaned, but, you know.
I see. Very well then, as you wish. So because Gummy was able to climb through the fireplace, we know it can be used, right? Yes, but that's not all we learned. We actually learned one other important fact. And that is... I will have to explain it to you later. Right now, we need to deal with the handwriting analysis. Detective Gumshoe?
Yes, sir. I'll be back before you know it.
The handwriting analysis of Mr. Cochin's handwriting will take a bit of time. Let us go and wait in the Theatrum Neutralis, along with Agent Long and Agent Sheena. To be continued. All right. Save for sure. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a quick minute and be right back. All right, we're back. The Yatagrasu's true identity. And we're only in the middle. March 14th, 11:33 p.m. Theatrum Neutralis lobby. Agent Long.
Long Z says, little cubs, never do they know the real fury of the elder wolves.
These quotes are definitely becoming increasingly difficult to decipher. And what does that mean?
It means that you'll never really know how angry I can get. Mr. Prosecutor, the counterfeit bills made with Bobbleese ink, they were all of Zhengfa denominations.
Yes, so I heard from Miss Von Karma. But we don't know where the play money has gone. They must not have figured out that it was all burned yet.
Ever since those things showed up in circulation, my country's economy has taken a big hit. Zhengfa is in financial chaos as we speak. Because we can't tell the difference between our own bills and the fakes. But it's not just the money. The citizens are also worried. I've staked the honor of the House of Long on this, and have come to this land to capture the mastermind behind this whole mess. I investigated how the bills were made and how the ink was smuggled into Zhengfa. And I pursued the smuggling ring all the way here. But tonight, this is where the final chapter was written. Despite my frantic efforts to chase the smuggler down, someone got to him first. And now I'm called to return home without a single answer.
Agent Long,
Don't start. It's not your fault. It's not anyone's fault, Mr. Prosecutor.
Ambassador Alba, I'm sorry for all the trouble tonight. Oh, no. It is I who should apologize. It was all because I was not strong enough. If only I was able to think of a better solution. Crookus, you fool! Curse your empty brain! You're being too hard on yourself, Ambassador. I take full responsibility for tonight. End of story. Sheena, let's go. Time to return to our den.
Yes. I don't like to admit it, but there's not much else for us to do but go home as well.
Agent Long, a moment if you will. You, Wolfman and the secretary lady, hold it! Objection! Pow!
Detective Gumshoe, have you got the results of the handwriting analysis already?
Yep, and that note was definitely written by Mr. Cochin, sir.
Just as I thought. Good work, Detective. Demasked the second's note. All right.
Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. How long do you intend to hold us up for?
Sorry to have made you wait, but I believe that now everyone is finally here. Agent Sheena, I'd like to ask you something, if you don't mind. Yes. How exactly did you fail to see the Yatagarasu when you were in the neighboring room to where Mr. Cochin was killed? I'd like you to explain that to us.
What? Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, what are you doing asking her about something she didn't see?
Agent Long hasn't touched the Baval investigation at all, so I suppose I will need to explain a few things to him first. Miles Edgeworth, I can't even begin to imagine what's going on in that head of yours. The only thing going on in my head is the pursuit of the truth. Oh, it sounds like you have some sort of plan. Very well. I'll supervise you until the end. Is she seriously going to treat me as a subordinate for the rest of the day?
You're not trying to pick a fight with my subordinate on some flimsy guess, are you?
I'm not trying to pick a fight, and the evidence is hardly flimsy, as you will see. Oh, synchronized glasses.
Ha! I should have known that you and I are destined to fight it out to the very end.
It would appear that way.
Well, I'll prove her innocence, so let's see what you've got, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
With pleasure. For my opening argument, I'll discuss the Yatagarasu that appeared in Babal, and establish exactly who it was that Kay saw. Agent Long, I assume you've been briefed on Kay's testimony?
You mean the suspicious person in a coat that she saw?
That's right. That person is one of the keys to solving this case. The person who pretended to be the Yatagarasu.
Pretended? And what do you mean by that?
I'll get to that in a second, but first I want to review what Kay's mystery person did. Kay, if you could please explain for us what the person you were chasing did. Okay, you got it. I first spotted the suspicious person near the open-air stage on the Babalese side. I called out to the person, but as soon as I did that, that person ran off. I thought it was rather suspicious, so I immediately gave chase. For the sake of argument, let's call the suspicious person the Yatagarasu. Now please tell us what happened when you chased the Yatagarasu up to the 3rd floor. Can do. I chased the Yatagarasu all the way up to the 3rd floor of the Babalese embassy. It was a pretty straight chase down the hallway, until the sudden turn. The Yatagarasu disappeared around the corner, so I did my best to keep up. When I turned the corner, I saw the Yatagarasu run into Mr. Cochin's office. I gave chase and ran into the room. But when I entered the room, it was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. I felt something on the ground next to my foot, so I turned on the light. Then... Ah! Who's there? By the time I had turned on the lights, the Yatagarasu had disappeared. When Kay entered the room, the person she was chasing was already gone.
Why do you suppose that was, Agent Long?
What do you mean, why do you suppose? Isn't it obvious? The person slipped out through the door behind the girl under the cover of darkness.
Sorry, but I know for a fact that the person didn't escape through the door.
Oh, and how do you know that with such certainty?
That's easy. If the Yatagarasu had left through that door, they would have run right into this person. Sheena, because she was right there, right?
Your answer is Sheena?
Yes, because let's consider what would have happened if the Yatagarasu had used the door. When Kay screamed upon discovering Mr. Kochin's body, the Yatagarasu would have run right into Agent Sheena, who was in the next room over. Agent Sheena, would you mind telling us if you saw the suspicious person in question? No, I didn't see anyone. You see, therefore the Yatagarasu could not have escaped through the doors.
It just means that the creep slipped out before Sheena made it into the hallway.
I doubt that, as there was another person in the hallway, a certain detective. Detective Gumshoe, where were you exactly at that time?
Me, sir? Well, when I heard Kay's scream, I ran towards Mr. Koshin's office from the opposite direction of Agent Sheena, sir.
So, Agent Long, can you explain how someone could have eluded both of them? Even you must concede that under these circumstances, the door was not a viable route. Way to go, Mr. Edgeworth. You nailed him with just an explanation of what happened. Yes, I've eliminated one of the possible escape routes from that room. But this is far from over. I need to make Agent Long aware as well of yet another possible escape route the Yatagarasu could have taken.
I get it. So that's what you were trying to show me. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, let me guess. This is what you were trying to say, right? Because the door was not a viable escape route, then there must have been another way out.
Precisely.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, it's time to bust out with our revolving fireplace wall explanation, right?
No, not quite yet. Huh? But why? I thought this would be the perfect time. The revolving wall on the Ablaze side is known only to 4 people. And if we use this information unwisely, the truth may escape us in the end.
What's with all the whispering over there? Scared I'll figure out your tactics?
Nothing of the sort, Agent Long. Come, let's continue where we left off.
That smug, haughty attitude of yours. You really rubbed me the wrong way, you know that? Huh. Well, no matter. I figured you out already anyway. The only other possible escape route besides the door is the room's lone window. And since an eerie picture of said escape route exists, are you saying that this photo captures the moment of the Yatagarasu's escape?
I guess Detective Bad must have filled him in on this photo. I have to admit that at first I thought the window to be a possible escape route as well. However, I now know that to be impossible.
Now, I realize you may not know this, but humans can't fly. Of course I know that. That's bloody common sense.
Besides, I never said I thought that photo to be of the Yatagarasu's escape route.
I suppose not. All right then, explain yourself.
The shadow in this photo is not the Yatagarasu that Kay was chasing after.
You can say whatever you'd like in whatever language you want. But there's only one language I really understand. The language of evidence.
Very well then. I present to you proof that the person Kay saw is not the same one as in this photo. Let's see. Well, what? I'm at a loss on this one. Okay, let's see. Person Kay saw is not the one in the photo. So, is it? It's not the revolving fireplace. There was the metal wire, which I haven't figured out what it's for yet. There's Polino's testimony, the fountain, misused perfume, no. Wait. hang on a second. You remember how Larry said he was looking for the Iron Infant? Did somebody throw the Iron Infant out the window, like wrapped in a cloth or something? I'm starting to wonder if that's like a possibility. That would be interesting. Let's see, fountain spouts. What have we got? Like, well, here, let's look through our evidence one by one. So we got the embassy guide. I don't think there's anything. Yeah, Cadopian paper and ink. Right. Cochin's body. That's kind of, we already figured out what's going on with that because we got his knife. The knife that he was stabbed with, and he also had the Adagarasu key, which is the key to his safe, we found out. There's the Alabastian knife, which we've already gone through. The Baval statue. The Cadopian document, which is in another language, but that's in... it was... Yeah, Bobbly's ink, swapped with the real murder weapon. That's the knife handle. The ink, counterfeit bills. Passion flower, samurai spear. Silhouette. Okay, pick, misuse perfume. So here's the photo of the Adagarasu. And I don't see anything too crazy there. And then the fires, 2 fires. Okay, the first fire at the Bobbly's embassy occurred during the Jam and Ninja show. The fire occurred on the 4th and 5th floors, and it took until the end of the show to put the fire out. The second fire at the Bobbly's embassy occurred after the Jam and Ninja show. The fire occurred on the 3rd floor, and Mr. Cochin's office caught fire during this. The person Kay saw is not the same as the photo. Okay. What about... So, photo taken after the first fire on the 4th and 5th floors had taken place. Wait a minute. This was taken after the first fire, but not before the second fire. I get it now. Okay. So that's the problem. The problem is Kay had chased after the second fire, and she saw somebody leave. So this could not have happened then. And I think we should present the fires in Babal as the evidence. Let me explain to you precisely why the shadow in this photo was not the Adagarasu Kay saw. Kay spotted the Adagarasu heading for the 3rd floor during the second fire. However, the photo in question was taken just after the first fire. Yeah, way to go! That's twice you bit him in the butt now.
We're not done yet. You still have to explain what that shadow is. And how the Adagarasu escaped. I don't suppose you can answer both, can you?
Regarding the photo, I admit that we don't understand what it means quite yet.
Ha! As I thought!
However, the Adagarasu's escape route. Now that I can answer.
You can? Well then, Mr. Prosecutor, go on. Enlighten me.
Even if I explain it, you'll try to find some flaw with what I have to say. You were busy heading up the Alabastian investigation, correct? In that case, I doubt you'd have much knowledge about the Bobbly's side of the case. So, wouldn't it be best if you get the lead on that side, Agent Sheena, explained it in my stead?
Sheena is my subordinate. If I don't stick up for her, how can I look her in the eye and call myself her boss?
Long, it's all right. I can take care of him.
Sheena.
You shielded me a lot as my boss. But it's time for me to prove my worth.
All right. If you're okay with it, then you have my support.
Finally, it's down to just Agent Sheena and myself. This is where the battle really begins. Now then, what is it you'd like to ask? Let's see. Why don't we start with your movements inside the Bobbly's embassy? Alright, we got a proper investigation now. Sheena's movements. During the first Bobbly's fire, I assisted in putting out the fire.
During the second fire, I was searching for the Yatagarasu that had appeared in Babal. While I was searching, I heard a scream coming from the room next over. Although I was in the next room, I was unable to catch a glimpse of the Yatagarasu. To be honest, I'm actually very skeptical that the girl's Yatagarasu even exists. That is all I have to say. But I'm not lying when I say I saw the suspicious person run into Mr. Cochin's office. Like I said earlier, I have no intention of retracting my testimony. Good. Just to confirm, did you have a partner when you were on your investigation? No, I moved alone. In that case, you have no one to corroborate your alibi. Is that correct?
Are you calling her suspicious because she was in a room by herself? How pathetic!
And it wasn't when Agent Sheena tried to arrest Kay under the same rationale? Oh, owned with facts and logic. And how about when you accused Larry because he was the weapon's owner? Oh my gosh. Now that it's not that it's unexpected for that useless lump to get into such a situation. Although I suppose it's never a good idea to let mistakes go uncorrected.
I will make no excuse for what I did in that situation. Then you should apologize right now for making Kay out to be the killer, pal. I'm sorry. Sheena, apologize.
I'm sorry. It's really okay. I mean, I'm not under suspicion anymore. Right, Mr. Edgeworth? Well, I never doubted you. Not for 1 second.
And the same goes for me. I believe in Sheena.
Then let's put that to the test and see if she is really worthy of your trust. Hehe. This promises to be interesting. Sheena's movements. Alright, we're back to it here. During the first Ablaze fire, I assisted in putting out the fire. So you helped with the fire extinguishing effort? I was in charge of the police on the Ablaze side, so I helped them with their work. Police doing the job of firemen. You really know how to work people.
She sure does. That's because she's one awesome woman who knows how to manage.
I guess so. She's always bringing you a business card or a scroll at just the right time. Prepare everything before I'm ordered to. That is the definition of a secretary.
She kinda seems more capable than Agent Long, doesn't she?
At the very least, she's certainly more capable than you, Detective.
Oh, I kinda had a feeling you were going to say that. Sheena's more than just a capable secretary, you know. Sheena, tell him what other things you're good at.
Alright. During the second fire, she was searching for the Yatagarasu. By the second fire, you mean the one that consumed the third floor of Babal, correct? Yes, that was when the suspicious person was spotted in Babal. Then you were after the same person in the long coat that I was after. There is no proof that the suspicious person was really the Yatagarasu, because no one was able to get a good look at the person's face. By the way, how was your team's investigation? In order to extinguish the fire, water was pumped into the third floor via the windows. So the majority of the investigators conducted their searches on other floors. Maybe they did, but there was one other person who was wandering around lost on the third floor. When the fire was pretty much out, I moved to investigate the third floor. And you did that alone? Yes. I was searching her to scream. So you were in the room next to Mr. Cochin's office? I already told you I was earlier, as I was examining the neighboring room. I heard that girl's shrill scream. Upon hearing her, I immediately ran towards Mr. Cochin's office. Wherein you proceeded to arrest her, as I recall. Yes, I did.
But she was totally innocent, pal. I thought we had already cleared that up.
Her sunglasses are back on. Taking them off. and I thought I had already apologized for my behavior. Now, if the tenacious detective would be so kind as to be quiet.
Oh!
I have to agree, right now is not the time to take issue with that.
No, not you do, Mr. Edgeworth.
But what I do take issue with is the fact that you didn't see the Yatagarasu, Agent Sheena. Huh. The prosecutors of this country are all so strange. Although I was in the next room, unable to catch a glimpse. You were unable to catch even a glimpse despite being in the next room? Is that true? I really hate to repeat myself. I'm sorry for inconveniencing you. However, I simply wish to make sure that you are not misremembering something. We wouldn't want you to be accused of lying later on, would we?
Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, are you calling Sheena's testimony a lie?
Agent Long, I'm talking with Agent Sheena right now. So I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't interrupt us with superfluous comments. You know, I feel kind of bad for him. I understand his pain at watching one of his subordinates being accused. However, I cannot turn my eyes from the truth. Long, I'm alright. And as for you, I think you should be focusing your doubts on that girl rather than me. Huh? And why is that? I'm actually very skeptical that the girl's Yatagarasu even exists. Okay? Are you throwing Kay's words into doubt again? Well, she does claim to be the Yatagarasu, right? And she did try to chase down the Yatagarasu despite being just an average citizen. Actually, she came here with the goal of capturing the fake Yatagarasu. That's right, which is why I would never lie about anything related to the Yatagarasu. And I suppose you have proof of that somewhere? Not quite, but even without any, I have people who believe in me, and that's enough. I see. Kay's testimony is without flaw, but as for yours, well, let's just say that I find your testimony to be a bit suspicious. There seems to be a very large flaw in her testimony. Oh, then why don't you show her using what we found out with the little thief? I will in due time. The escape route of the Yatagarasu that Kay was in pursuit of. If it turns out that it really does lead right to Agent Sheena, then what is it that she is keeping from us right now? Okay. Let's see. So during the first Ablaze fires, we saw that. During the second fire was searching for the Yatagarasu. Was searching her to scream, coming from the next room over. Although I was in the next room, I was unable to catch a glimpse of the Yatagarasu. Aha! Although I was in the next room, I was unable... She would not. Do we hit her with this now? The fireplace? That's right there? Because if she was in that room, she absolutely would have seen the Yatagarasu. Let's do it. Yeah. Being in the room next to Mr. Cochin's office is the problem with your testimony. Huh?
Mr. Prosecutor, I don't see what problem you're talking about at all.
Agent Long, do you recall the secret we discovered about the Alabastian office fireplace?
Huh? Oh, you mean how it connects the office with the room next door? What about it?
Well, Alabast isn't the only country with secret connecting fireplaces.
What?
The fireplace in Mr. Cochin's office holds the exact same secret.
What?
The Yatagarasu didn't escape through the door to the room or the window. The escape route was through the revolving fireplace wall and into the next room over. Oh. Now do you see? If the Yatagarasu had escaped into the next room, then the thief would have run straight into Agent Sheena. Meaning that it's impossible for her to have missed the Yatagarasu.
Yeah! What is the meaning of this, Miles?
Well, would you care to explain, Agent Sheena, how you managed to completely miss the fleeing Yatagarasu, or shall I? Your claim that you were in the next room was a lie all along, wasn't it? The truth is, you were the one Kay saw in the coat, pretending to be the Yatagarasu, and you were the one she chased after. As you tried to lose her, you ran into Mr. Cochin's office and headed for the fireplace. Then, you shed your coat in the next room, leaving it there to emerge as Agent Sheena. After that, you came back around to place Kay under arrest. Does that sound about right? If not, then speak now or forever hold your peace.
How dare you make Kay look like the bad guy when you're the suspicious one, pal?
Sheena? Huh? That laugh!
I remember this irritating laugh. I'm getting chills down my spine.
It can't be, but it has to be.
Sheena, what's wrong with you?
I'm sorry. It was so funny that I couldn't help but laugh. Funny, you say? Yes, that you would accuse me of being the Yatagarasu. The prosecutors of this country really are all so very strange.
Do you think you could get away with this by simply laughing it off?
You think I'm taking things too lightly? I think not. It's that prosecutor who is. Look, everything you said earlier is nothing more than mere speculation. The Yatagarasu fled through the fireplace. Do you have any proof to back up your claim? If you don't, then you haven't proven a thing regarding the Yatagarasu's escape route. The tone of voice you're taking with me now has certainly changed. That's because it's been a while since I've had this much fun. I think I'll let loose, and then we can have a real battle of wits. For an agent of Interpol to show me the true power of her mind, it is a great honor. Don't underestimate me. I'm not some foolish broad, you know? I know, and that is why I won't hold anything back either as I answer your question. My question. Here is your proof that the revolving fireplace wall in Babal was used recently. The ashes. I'm sorry, but is this really your honest answer to my question? Yes. According to Ambassador Paleno's testimony, he said that he was burning some documents in the fireplace with Mr. Cochin. Oh. The ashes of what they burned were left in the fireplace, so they should have been there. However, when we went to investigate the room, the ashes weren't there. Why is that a problem? Maybe someone cleaned them up. Unfortunately for you, Ambassador Paleno said that he forgot to. And so the question remains, why were the ashes missing? The answer is simple. When the Yatagarasu went through the fireplace wall, the ashes were pushed into the next room by the wall as well. The movement of the ashes that were in Mr. Cochin's office is my proof. And just what is so funny? Ashes proof? Are you even allowed to submit such flaky evidence in court?
Do you still wish to fight us?
Of course, why wouldn't I? In that case, let's hear your counter-argument. My counter-argument, huh? This really is just like being in court. Well, to me, we're simply continuing from where we left off, all those years ago. I have no idea what you're talking about. It doesn't matter if we're at a crime scene or in court. Let's finish this here and now. I suppose. I've had a lot of fun today, but I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. Sheena's rebuttal. In my eyes, all you've proved is that the rotating fireplace was used. But you can't really call that proof that the Yatagarasu used the fireplace, now can you? So then, who was it that used the rotating wall? Show me your answer, with real evidence. Remember, we've already finished our very thorough investigation. And we found not a single suspicious thing in Mr. Cochin's office. And there you have it, my counter-argument.
Ugh.
That's very impressive. She has seen through to the fact that I have yet to gather that one piece of evidence.
What is it, Kay? I haven't had a peep out of you in quite a while now.
If you don't think you can handle it, feel free to leave the rest of it to us. But Okay, pull yourself together. You are the true heir to the Yatagarasu name, are you not? If you want to steal the truth, then you must never take your eyes off of it. This chase you're running to catch the truth, you must see it through to the very end. Mr. Edgeworth, you're right. I will see this through to the end. So, you go get her for me, Mr. Edgeworth. With pleasure. Looks like a lack of evidence has left you wide open, doesn't it?
Sheena, please, show me you're someone I can trust.
Don't worry. This will be the deciding match. You'll see. I'm truly sorry, Agent Long, but I simply can't allow her to escape me again. Very well then, Agent Sheena. Shall we begin? I'm ready, whenever you are. Alright. Let's see. In my eyes, all you've proved is that the rotating fireplace wall was used. Okay? It sounds to me like you're saying my explanation is not good enough.
But I was able to go through the revolving door myself. So that should be proof enough, even for you, pal.
It looks like you don't quite understand. But, by your looks, I can guess you're not all that learned.
Youch! Talk about rude! You should watch what you say, pal!
Sadly, I can't say I disagree with her on that one.
But you know what I mean, right? You may have proven that the fireplace was used,
but you can't really call that proof that the Yatagarasu used the fireplace, now can you?
right?
So you want proof that the Yatagarasu was the one who used the fireplace?
That's right.
Well, do you have any?
Ugh.
Can you prove that it wasn't the Yatagarasu who used the fireplace? I don't need to prove anything to you.
Objection!
Okay, if you would please not steal my line. Sorry, but I just couldn't hold it in anymore. Well, don't fret and leave her to me. All you have to do is sit back and watch. You may seem to have some wiggle room, but without any evidence, it's meaningless. Then who was it that used the rotating wall? Okay. It's possible that the Yatagarasu left fingerprints inside the fireplace. Sorry, but I had the forensics team check that already. All they found were prints belonging to Ambassador Paleno and Mr. Cochin.
Curses!
I should have known better than to think the Yatagarasu would have been so careless. He's just yelling curses like he's a comic book villain. I love it. But there must be some sort of evidence that we still have yet to find. I take it you have no further objections. Remember, we're already finished our very thorough investigation. So Interpol has finished examining the entire Ablaze embassy? Yes, the investigators who weren't allowed into Alabast were incredibly helpful. They all put in great efforts to search for any sign of the Yatagarasu. And yet, despite all that effort, it appears that they failed to notice the lack of ash in the office fireplace. Furthermore, you were the one who inspected the room next to Mr. Cochin's, correct? I didn't notice the ash there in the fireplace of that room, and for that, I am sorry.
You don't need to apologize, Sheena. As your boss, your mistakes are my mistakes.
So allow me to apologize for you.
I'm sorry.
You know, maybe this guy's not such a bad guy after all.
He apologizes for his subordinate at everything. What a great boss.
Are you saying that I don't do anything for my own subordinates?
Ah! No, nothing of the sort, sir. You're someone I really respect, sir, even if you are a bit too strict sometimes.
That is only a problem on your end. Wow, way to be super hard on him in response. Am I really too strict on everyone?
Anyway, Sheena, you didn't find anything in Mr. Cochin's office, right?
That's right. We finished our investigation. And we found not a single suspicious thing in Mr. Cochin's office.
Wait a minute. What about this metal wire?
While you say that, you and your agents have finished your thorough investigation, are you absolutely certain that you didn't overlook anything? Well, aren't we full of ourselves standing there insulting Interpol agents?
You'd better not be insinuating that my men are incompetent, Mr. Prosecutor.
I'd never do that. However, it doesn't change the fact that they did overlook something. Yeah, see, I thought about that when they were talking earlier about how she thoroughly investigated. Like, we found a couple things that they missed. I'd like for you to take a look at this length of wire. And what exactly is this supposed to mean?
A length of wire? So what about it?
I'll tell you what. We found this in the Babalese embassy not long ago.
What?
And we found it wound up inside the grandfather clock in Mr. Cochin's office.
You found that at the scene of Mr. Cochin's murder?
But this wire wasn't all we found. We found one other very important thing.
There's more?
In Mr. Cochin's office, there were signs that someone had burned counterfeit bills there. Yeah, that's a big one too.
What in the... Yeah!
That evidence was something you found out through that girl's machine, right? So what if it was? That's what I thought. But unfortunately for you, recreation made by a machine is hardly concrete proof. Among the ashes you found in the room, did you happen to find any counterfeit bills? No. You see? So there was nothing in that office. Nothing you can call evidence, anyway. I'm sorry, but I seem to have given you the wrong impression. How so? I don't recall saying that I was presenting evidence of any sort, but rather I was pointing out that your investigation was incomplete, and that this throws doubt on the purity of your investigation into the Adagarasu. You still suspect me, I see. Alright then, I ask that you point out what part of my investigation is incomplete. The other Interpol agents worked under the command of Agent Sheena, and that is it not possible that the reason the person Kay was chasing chose the 3rd floor was because that person knew there would be no other agents on that floor? Furthermore, we've come to see that Agent Sheena was only pretending to be investigating the Yatagarasu to the point of arresting Kay. In that case, there is one location that no one is yet to inspect. Your team's investigation was incomplete because they failed to inspect this location. Didn't we bring up the elevator earlier? Is it the elevator? Does that make sense? Wait, hang on. What did he say specifically? Your team's investigation was incomplete because they failed to inspect this location. Okay, let's think about the exact wording on that. Your team did not inspect something. Okay, the only person who inspected this room, come to think of it, was Sheena. And they came in and inspected this room. They did not look at this room. So maybe I was wrong about the elevator. Maybe it was this room. Let's see. The location Agent Sheena is, of course, the room you claim to have examined. I believe the room next to Mr. Cochin's office warrants a thorough inspection. Even if you do that, I doubt you'll find anything of use to you there. I will be the one to decide that. Detective Gumshoe?
Yes, sir. I'm on it. I'll be right back after I check out that room next to the office.
You gonna find a coat there? Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you really think that Miss Sheena's the Yatagarasu? Yes, if my logic is sound, I believe she is. Then I'm not going to let her get away with ruining the name of the Yatagarasu. But can you prove she's the Yatagarasu is the question. If Detective Gumshoe can find what I'm hoping he will find, then I should be able to. And just what are you hoping he'll find? Let's just say this. I had Detective Gumshoe do a little experiment for me earlier. An experiment? As if that detective has the brains for high science. It wasn't that mentally taxing. I had him use the same escape route as the Yatagarasu. And what did you find out by doing that? First, that it's possible for a person to fit through the revolving wall door. Second, that by going through there, his coat was covered in ash and Ablaze ink. Who cares what his coat was covered in? It's not worth that much anyway. Ah, but is it really worth so little? I believe that it's actually quite a meaningful result. The value which I'm about to prove.
Mr. Edgeworth, I found some things you really need to see, sir.
If Gumshoe comes back with something, then we'll know for sure that Sheena is the villain, because the only way to not pick up something he missed is by doing it on purpose. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Gumshoe ipso facto. Dumbo. So, what are these things that you found?
Some makeup, a coat, and a pair of shoes, sir.
You found a coat? You hear that, Mr. Edgeworth? Maybe it's the one the person I was chasing was wearing. Yes, the possibility does exist. Agent Sheena, were these pieces of evidence not in the room when you examined it? Unfortunately for you, those aren't suspicious items of any sort. They all belong to me. They were getting in the way, so I stored them in that room.
Oh.
Thank you for bringing them to me. It saves me a trip. May I have them back now? Those items the detective brought back are incredibly significant. I request that we be allowed to examine them. They're my personal belongings, so you have no right to touch them without my permission. I wish to examine them for the sake of the investigation. But if you wish to deny us access to them... Agent Long, let's hear your opinion on this.
I say let them look at your stuff, Sheena.
Long,
Sheena, let's put it all out in the open. If you're really innocent, then you have nothing to worry about, right?
I guess so. Alright, go ahead and examine whatever you'd like. After all, I have nothing to hide. Good. Now let us begin. So which of Agent Sheena's belongings are you going to
So which of Agent Sheena's belongings are you going to examine, sir?
The coat, obviously. Let's examine the coat.
Yes, sir.
It appears you managed to stain your coat rather badly. Agent Sheena. The Yatagarasu that Kay saw was wearing a coat. And I'm beginning to wonder if this stain wasn't created when you went through the fireplace. No, you have it wrong. That soot probably got on my coat when I was helping the police put out the fire. And what about this dark substance around the hem of your coat? Oh, I didn't realize that the hem was that dirty. I'm sure it's just some water mixed with soot from when I was helping with the fire. I don't think so. Do you think you can get away with such a transparent lie?
Yeah, don't lie to us, pal. That is the same pattern of dirt that got on my coat when I went through the fireplace.
Your words ring hollow in the absence of evidence, you know. So unless you can prove that the dirt on my coat is from the fireplace, which I can... How? You did a great job, Detective Gumshoe.
Huh? Me, sir? What did I do?
This coat. This is exactly the piece of evidence I was searching for. I had been hoping to find the coat that the person Kay saw was wearing. And thanks to you, we proved that going through the fireplace would sully a coat.
I don't quite get what you're saying, but I'm happy for the praise, sir.
All that remains is for us to show what the dark substance on the coat hem is. Oh, and you think you can do that? Of course I can. This is the dark substance that sullied the hem of this coat. It's the ink, right? Bubbly's ink? Yes, this is what will prove that the coat went through the fireplace. According to Ambassador Polano, he burned some files in the fireplace this morning. You told us about that already. So I don't really see the point in mentioning it again. My point is that he spilled some ink onto the back wall of the fireplace at that time. If the dark substance on this coat turns out to be Bobbly's ink, it would prove that you and this coat went through the revolving fireplace wall.
Yeah.
Sorry to clip one of your wings, Yatagarasu, but we're not finished yet. But you have no way of proving whether or not this is Bobbly's ink on the coat hem. Oh, but I do, and I intend to show that it is ink in a few seconds.
How?
How, you ask? Well, since you don't seem to know, allow me to show you. This is how I will prove that the dark substance on the coat is Bobbly's ink. Burn the coat. We can find out whether that is Bobbly's ink or not by lighting it on fire.
That's how you're gonna prove that it's Bobbly's ink?
Yes, if you could please cut a section of the dark stained area for me, I'd appreciate it. Because I will show you here and now what the dark substance is.
Sheena, sorry to do this, but I'm gonna have to cut it off a bit of your coat.
Go ahead, I wasn't planning to wear it anymore anyway.
Now then, if someone could loan me a lighter or something.
Oh, I've got some matches. I always carry them with me so I can light smoke bombs. Then if I could please have one, Kay, we can get this experiment underway.
The flame is the same color as the flame's wit crystal oil produces, which means
Bobbly's ink is a product of wit crystal oil. And when lit, the ink produces a green flame. I believe the time has come to clip the Yatagarasu's other wing.
Miss Sheena, you're the fake Yatagarasu. The one who killed my father.
It's about time you came clean, Agent Sheena. Or should I say, Callisto you?
Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, you're not serious, are you?
Do I look like the joking type to you? Callisto you? I've never heard that name before in my life. That manner of speaking, and that attitude. You haven't changed a bit in 7 years.
You're the defense attorney that killed Mr. Faraday and then tried to frame me for it.
Oh, really? And you have proof? You insist that I am this Callisto you woman, but you can't prove it. If you have no proof, then I'm afraid you won't be able to lay a single finger on me. The raven is a very unique bird, one that flies by the darkness of night. However, the light of dawn has arrived, and it will reveal your true, ugly form to the world. Enough poetry. I want to see some evidence. Do you really have something that can prove that she is Callisto you? I do. It's something that the second Yatagarasu has preserved for us these last 7 years. Do me the honor, Mr. Edgeworth. I will, Kay. We have finally come to the end. We'll prove her to be Callisto you with this and clip this Yatagarasu's wings for good. I mean, that's a reference to the perfume. This perfume. This will prove you to be Callisto you.
It will?
Kay has preserved it perfectly for us. Surely you remember this bottle? This belonged to Miss Yu just before she disappeared 7 years ago. Naturally, this means that a few of her fingerprints are on here as well. This is that bottle of perfume you spilled, which I have preserved ever since. I heard from my father, Bern Faraday, that if stored under the right conditions, a fingerprint can be preserved for decades. Which means that your fingerprints are still on here. Every last one. We can clear everything up if we were to compare the prints on this to your own. Now come, Agent Sheena. Will you submit yourself to a fingerprint test? There we go. It looks like you've seen through me yet again. You're sending the biggest chill down my spine, Edgeworth. Callisto, you? So you've shown your true face at last. This feeling of thrill, it's even greater than that time 7 years ago.
Sheena, you're...
Long, I really enjoyed our days together. You're an insanely strong, nice, kind-hearted idiot of a man.
So you were a spy all along? A mole sent by the smuggling ring I've been chasing after? Someone who's been feeding them intel and Interpol all this time?
Very good. Maybe you're not as big of an idiot as I thought.
Callisto, you, the woman who killed my father 7 years ago? You're her, aren't you?
The fake Yatagarasu.
You like the dramatic laughs? Thank you. That's right, Callisto, you. That's just one of my many names. But even that is just a facade. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the great thief, Yatagarasu. Callisto, you, this time you won't escape. But this is the end of the road for you. Now come along quietly. You know, you're the one who left the strongest impression on me, Kay Faraday. And had you not used the Yatagarasu's gadgets, I might have never known who you were. But here you are, being a thorn in my side, just like your father always was.
Huh? Kay, don't. I'll never forgive you for what you did to my father.
You really are just like him. Mr. Faraday, too, possessed such laughable honesty.
Uh-oh. Kay! You let Kay go right now, pal! You despicable... Let go of me, you filthy...
You think I'm a fake, don't you? Well, unfortunately for you, I'm the real Yatagarasu.
But that's impossible. My father was the one who created Little Thief.
Hey, Edgeworth. The Yatagarasu has 3 legs. Do you know why that is? Why it has 3 legs?
There are 3 main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be 1 step ahead.
First,
the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object.
Second,
the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system.
No, it can't be. Did you finally figure it out? Do you finally know the real identity of the Yatagarasu? The real identity of the Yatagarasu is... Burn Faraday, Callisto you. Well, it's neither person specifically. There's 3 people, because there's 3 legs. The real identity of the Yatagarasu is neither Burn Faraday nor Callisto you. But by the same token, they are also both the real Yatagarasu. How very perceptive of you.
no way!
The single person known as the Great Thief Yatagarasu never existed.
Mr. Edgeworth... No! I refuse to believe this.
The Yatagarasu is known to have 3 special skills. Skill number 1, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. And a lawyer would have the opportunity to learn the layout of client corporations. Skill number 2, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. And a good prosecutor would be well versed in the ways of a criminal.
And skill number 3, Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind. Ever.
Uh-oh. Detective Bad.
It was only natural for the Yatagarasu to never leave evidence behind, because the lead detective on the case hid it all away.
You're the 3rd member of the Yatagarasu?
I've been looking for you for a long time. 7 long years. But I've finally got you.
Why, Mr. Bad, long time no see. What happened to us? We used to be such a great team.
If you were such a great team, then why did you kill my father 7 years ago?
Why, indeed. It was nothing personal, really. He was just another person I had to kill.
How can you say that?
I grow weary of this, and it's about time for everything to come to an end. And this time, I won't miss.
Stop! You! It's over, Sheena.
Your leg!
Agent Long! Shit! You idiot! What were you thinking, jumping in front of my gun like that? What are you risking your life for? I'm sorry, Detective Bad, but no matter what sort of past she may have had, or even if she is a spy, it doesn't change the fact that she is my subordinate. And as long as she is, I can't allow any harm to come to her, not even from you. You really are an idiot, you know that? Yeah, that's fine with me. You should know by now that this is just how I am. Hey, sis.
Yes.
I want you to conduct a full body search. Sheena might have another weapon on her.
All right. Detective Gumshoe, your assistance, please.
Sir! Hey, I found something. What is this, sir? It looks like the blade of a knife, but it doesn't have a handle.
This is a great find, Detective.
Huh? It is, sir?
Let's try pairing it with the blade and this handle. The Ablaze knife handle. I believe this blade actually belongs with the handle that was on the murder weapon.
Hey, they fit together perfectly.
This blade must have been taken from the crime scene when the knife handles were switched.
I'm gonna go return this Babalese knife now.
All right. I trust that you'll make sure it is returned to Ambassador Polino. The Babalese knife handle given to Detective Gumshoe. I believe this makes it perfectly clear who did it. Callisto, you. For the only time the handles could have been switched is just after Mr. Cochin's murder. Which means that you must be Mr. Cochin's killer. Yep. You killed Mr. Cochin with the Alabastian knife. Switched the handles and then took the original blade of the Babalese knife with you. Later, you allowed yourself to be spotted by Kay near the open-air stage. You used the fireplace to lose her, and then you went back to accuse her of the murder. Does that about sum it up? You craft an engaging tale, Edgeworth, but there are two problems with it. Problems? In what respect? What do you think my real reason was in allowing her to chase after me? Huh?
It was also I could capture Kay Faraday.
What? When I saw you using that device at Gatewaterland, I knew right away that you were Byrne Faraday's daughter. I became curious, so I researched a little into your background. And that's how I found out that you were on the trail of the Edagarasu. So that's why you tried to pin Mr. Cochin's murder on me? Yes, I knew you would show up at this embassy tonight. So I thought to use you, but pinning the murder on you wasn't my only goal. You had another? Yes. Once I had you under arrest, I had planned to search you and take back the device that rightfully belongs to me, the true Yatagarasu. You were going to take little thief away from me? 7 years ago, it was thanks to that device that Faraday was able to infiltrate this place. But he stole more than he should have. I had a tough time recovering that precious key. And then the person who stole the Yatagarasu's key was Mr. Faraday?
You. That incident 7 years ago. What was the catalyst behind it?
In the eyes of the smuggling ring, the Yatagarasu was becoming a bit of a problem. It wasn't an especially pleasant assignment.
Then why? Why did you become a member of the Yatagarasu?
Why? There is no why. I was destined to betray everyone from the very beginning. From the beginning? What is that supposed to mean? The person I take orders from hasn't changed. Even now, to this day.
Huh?
Does this mean that the leader of the smuggling ring wasn't Mr. Cochin? That the real ringleader is still out there pulling the strings?
Are you done asking what you need to know? Because if so, we should probably get going. And you're gonna tell me everything you did tonight. Do you understand, Sheena?
I guess I should tell you then that I was the one who set the Babalese embassy on fire. And why did you do that? I suppose it was to destroy all evidence of the counterfeit bills.
That was what the smuggling ring was trying to do? But then why start two fires?
Sorry, but I can't tell you anything about the ring. It's your job to complete your investigation, after all. I've had my fun. Now it's your turn to enjoy the ride. Wait! Miss Sheena. Yes. When I fell to the floor earlier, these fell at my feet. What about them? They're such pretty hair sticks that I thought, well, that I should return them to you. You can have them. They're of no use to me anymore. If you don't want them, you can always just throw them away. No, I want to keep them. Suit yourself. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot, Edgeworth. About the second problem I had with your story. I didn't kill anyone tonight.
What?
I'm not saying that as a sore loser. Think of it as a hint, if you will.
Mr. Prosecutor,
Yes, Agent Long?
mark my words. I'm not done here, and I'll be back. And it's got nothing to do with duty or anything. Because this has become my personal case. I may have been shot, but I'll show you just how dangerous a wounded wolf can be.
His anger appears to have negated the sensation of pain in his injured leg. Oh, he's bleeding out from a wound in his leg right now. He's limping, even though his sprite doesn't have an injury on him. It's finally over, Kay. I feel like I've peered into her heart a little, you know? It's so cold and dark, and incredibly lonely. The person who was giving her all these commands, the one who thought my father was a problem to be removed, that person is the real ringleader behind the smuggling ring. Mr. Edgeworth, I have a favor to ask. Can you hold on to these hair sticks for me? They're really pretty, just like the ones they were selling for the Gem and Ninja show. But until this case is over, I don't think I can look at them without being overcome. I understand. I'll take good care of them for you. There's a bit of soil stuck on the ends of these sticks. Ah, there's some dirt, eh?
Oh, I guess it's that time already, huh?
So it's midnight, the dawn of another day.
Hey, Pops, thanks a bunch. You've really done a lot for everyone all these years.
Detective Bad, don't tell me today is the day.
Yeah, it is. With this, I can retire in peace. It was down to the wire, and we almost didn't make it. But we did it. We solved everything.
But that's just it. We haven't solved everything yet. The ringleader of the smuggling ring, you, the Yatagarasu we're chasing after.
The legend of that Yatagarasu is now over. Mr. Edgeworth, that bit of logic earlier, it was brilliant. I feel like I could leave it all in your hands. I'm counting on you.
Is it really true, Uncle Bad? Were you also a part of the Yatagarasu?
As I said to you earlier, Kay, I'm truly sorry. I wanted nothing but a peaceful life for you.
Uncle Bad?
Hey, don't take it so seriously. It's all just one big joke, right?
Unfortunately, it isn't.
Oh, come on, sir. She just yanked it on my chain. Isn't she, Mr. Edgeworth?
Detective Bad? Wait. No, you are no longer a detective. Mr. Bad. I'd like to ask you about the Yatagarasu.
Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth.
Mr. Edgeworth, here. I should give these back to you.
These are the pages from my KG-8 case files that the Yatagarasu stole from my office.
Huh? Wait, what?
Mr. Edgeworth, I must apologize for last night.
So the Yatagarasu who stole into my room was you, was it?
Wait, then that means... What? Tell me it's not true. That's too insane for me to believe, sir.
It's true. Even if it's not something you want to hear. The KG-8 incident, it was a very emotionally trying case. We stood in that courtroom. Faraday is the prosecutor and I is the lead detective. Faraday had evidence in his possession that would prove the defendant guilty. However, because it was stolen, the defendant was found innocent. You was the elder sister of the victim in the case. When the defendant was pronounced not guilty, she let out a great wail. And that's when we realized that there was a limit to what the law could do. The only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the courts. That's what we thought at the time. That's how we formed the Yatagarasu and vowed to bring to light any dirty dealings companies had with the ring. including companies that dealt with the Amano Group.
Mr. Amano's conglomerate?
We called ourselves the Atagarasu and flexed our collective muscle. We exposed all sorts of shady dealings as a warning to the business world as a whole. By doing that, we were able to stop the higher-ups from covering things up. And then it was finally time. We had finally arrived at the moment when we'd find out the ringleader's true identity. It was then that you literally stabbed us in the heart. And Faraday, he died for it.
Oh. But why? Wasn't she the sister of the victim in the KG8 incident?
After Faraday's death, I looked into her past, and that's when I found out that she was a phony. The victim of the KG8 incident, CCU. She never had a sister.
What? Then that means...
Sheena wasn't the only fake name she used. Callisto U was also another pseudonym. From the very beginning, that woman was a spy sent by the smuggling ring.
She said it herself. I was destined to betray everyone from the very beginning.
Anyway, let's return to the real topic at hand. Mr. Edgeworth, this trump card that we stuck onto this page of this case file. Please use it wisely.
Trump card?
That photo that we stuck on there. Try peeling it off. Behind it slumbers a piece of evidence that Faraday hid away all those years ago.
It's the mark of the Atagarasu, but why?
This is a directives card from the big boss. Take a look at the back. This was something Kochin had on him at the time of the KG8 incident 10 years ago. That blood is from the victim of the incident, Miss CCU.
But why is the card adorned with the mark of the Atagarasu?
The reason why we called ourselves the Atagarasu was because of the three-legged raven mark that the smuggling ring's boss used. Apparently, orders from the boss would come on these cards without fail. The person who received the order was supposed to burn it immediately after reading it. And apparently, it burns a bright green flame when set ablaze.
So you mean the cards were written in Babuli's ink?
The fact that the card that Kochin was sent made it into Faraday's hands at all is nothing short of a miracle. We decided that whenever we stole anything, we would send a card along with it to the police.
That's what those white cards are.
The great thief that used the mark that only those within the ring would know. It was our message to the ringleader that we were only a few steps behind.
All right.
And one more thing, Detective Gumshoe. I'm entrusting this to you.
What is this, sir?
This is what I was talking about earlier. During the KG8 incident trial, Faraday had this in his possession. This important, definitive piece of evidence.
But I thought it was stolen. How do you have it?
The person who stole it from us 10 years ago was a man by the name of Ernest Amano, and he had it locked and hidden away for all this time. But we forced him to tell us where it was finally, after the other day's kidnapping case.
Ah, this video.
Don't come any closer, I'm warning you!
This is the same video as the one Mr. Portsman was trying to conceal from me.
Yeah, it would seem that even he was caught up in the ring's web. Amano was preparing to take on the boss someday, and the video was his insurance. That's where that prosecutor comes in. He was to retrieve the video. On top of that, he was apparently instructed to sneak into your office and steal the trump card. You saw it for yourself, right? The card that told him to preserve the evidence.
Then that card was not the calling card of the Atagarasu, but rather a directives card from the ringleader to Mr. Portsman.
The two pieces together make for a strong weapon for whoever holds them.
The evidence Mr. Portsman thought to withhold from me, and the one that you stole from my office last night. Both pieces are illegal, And for me to use either one is...
Whether you use them or not is up to you. But they will be of help to you when you take on someone who's above the law.
Is the boss one of those who cannot be brought to court that Mr. Faraday spoke of? Detective Bad, there is no limit to the law, for it is the people who determine the limits to them.
You still insist that even now? You really are something else. I leave the rest in your hands. Now then, Detective Gumshoe, the handcuffs. It's time to lock up the last remaining member of the Yatagarasu.
Pops!
Don't ever lose your detective spirit.
No, Pops! Why is this happening? This isn't justice!
Like I always told you, do not get emotionally involved. Now let's go.
Yes, sir!
Is this really the end of a legend? I don't know. But there we go. Huh. That's the end of the game, right? Let's save our progress. Hang on a second. There's more, but next time we'll have to do that. And a quick schedule update. Next time I'm going to stream Sunday night instead of Saturday night. I will go ahead and make the schedule for that, but just to let you know. Anyway, see you guys later. Yeah, I can't believe Detective Bad was bad. I know, right? All right.